Come on, YouTube. Good morning. All right, we're just about there. I know you guys can see me. I'm pretty sure you can see me. I just can't see you yet, so I'll have to wait till I can see you. Come on. Hello, hello. Can you guys see me? All right, let me just check behind the camera here. I think we're going, right? I think we are, aren't we? Oh, yeah. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're good. We're good. It just took a little bit longer than normal. Just a little bit longer than normal. All right. Good morning, friends. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I'm celebrating this morning. I feel freaking amazing. For the first time in about, 17 or 18 days. I have been so sick. It turned into walking pneumonia. And over that time, I hosted a bridal shower for 18 people. Just, that's what life does to us. But it was lovely. It was wonderful. I'm on all the drugs. I've been on all the drugs, 2 different antibiotics, a chest x-ray, an albuterol inhaler, all the things, and all the over-counter medicine that you can, even imagine. But today, I felt good yesterday, but today I woke up and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like almost like myself again. There's just like this little bit of a dry cough, which we'll just have to deal with today. But anyhow, so it is a beautiful, brilliant Saturday morning in my world because of that. So welcome, friends, welcome. If we have not met before, my name is Lael Kankar. I have a business called Lael by Mail. When I am not traveling, we are here on Saturday mornings doing what I like to call creative listing. A couple days beforehand, I publish several listing topics or listing prompts on my blog at laelbymail.com. An email goes out. I post it in the Lael by Mail Facebook page, Lael by Mail group. So there's lots of different ways for you to kind of know that this is coming up. Also, if you like and subscribe here on YouTube, it will also notify you that when things are coming up. So anyhow, that's what we're doing here today. We are going to be working on 4 different creative lists. This type of journaling, documenting, memory keeping, whatever you want to call it, I've been doing now about 10 or 11 years, and we've been doing it here on my YouTube channel for almost the last 6 years. So welcome to you if you are new. Lovely having you here. There is a live chat that takes place. If you are watching live and you want to pop into the chat and tell us hello, I would love to see you. I'd love to know that you're here. And I know the rest of the Squirrel Squad community, the people that join us here on Saturdays, would also love to just say hello to you. So if you want to pop in the chat and say hi, that would be great. Those of you that have been with me for a while, welcome. Welcome back. It's so fun to have you. Always fun to have you with us. I'm really excited about the lists that we're doing today, 4 lists. 3 of the 4 are lists that we do on a frequent-ish basis, and then one of those is something totally different. So as we dive in, if you're new to the whole concept of creating listing, there are 3 lists that we'll do today that would be great lists for maybe you to start out with. If you're like, what in the heck is she talking about creative listing? Or you kind of have a little inkling, but you want to know more about it. There is a free class here on my YouTube channel, how to get started creative listing. That is also linked in the description box of the video down below. So that is a great place to start. We'll kind of explain what the whole concept is and give you some topic ideas to start with. Speaking of the description box in the video down below, there's quite a few links there. Most of what I'll be using today is available on my website at laelbymail.com. I'll be using a combination of my own Lael by Mail products, which that list is getting longer and longer these days, right? And then also some products from other manufacturers. But you will see links to, you'll see one link in the description box of the video to what I'm using, and then lots of other things. So it's a great place to start. I'm not sure, I don't know if we have Amy with us. Amy is my right hand. When she is around and not traveling and not busy, she is in the chat kind of helping to share links. And I know that she's been out of state with her daughter, and I think she was traveling back today home, so we may not see her today. Anyhow, we'll be good. You're in good hands, and we are, you're in store for lots of fun. I am going to divert my attention over to my little iPod. Gosh, yes, I did have an iPod back in the day. That's how old I am. Like the one that would hold maybe like 500 songs, maybe if you were lucky. Anyhow, not my iPod, my iPad, so I can see the chat and see who's here. And then we'll kind of talk about a couple of housekeeping details. We'll rotate the camera and then we'll dive in, okay? So that's our plan for today. We will probably be together, you guys. Honestly, we'll probably be together about 4 hours because we have lots to do today. It's just like an open house, right? If you go to an open house, you don't necessarily expect to be there from start to beginning. Some of you may start with us, some of you may end with us, some of you may be watching the replay and fast forwarding me, but you can come and go as you please. It's just nice to have you here. And this gives me an excuse to craft, which I love. All right, hello, Joy. Nice to see you. Joy from Georgia. Heather Graham. Nice to see you. Jolene. Joy. Oh, I already said Joy. Charlene. Hello from sunny Nebraska. Jolene is very excited. She's got 3 mail by mail orders coming on Monday. So let's just take a quick squirrel moment there. I'm going to just squirrel for a minute. If you missed the news, we are moving to a warehouse, which this is, gosh, I don't know, we're 7 years in maybe. Mail by mail, 7 years in, and really probably about 4 years in of doing a lot of my own products, and it's outgrown my house. So I signed the lease to warehouse earlier this week, still when I was not feeling well. Went one last look at the warehouse, signed the lease, ran to Nordstrom to have the dress for our son's wedding altered, which is March 1st, and then went from there to get a chest x-ray. So it was a good day because the chest x-ray was clear. Anyhow, but signed the lease. We are moving March 6th, 7th, and 8th. And last Sunday, I guess, Sunday the 1st, I think, days are all blending now. I put up a sale on the website, laylebymail.com, warehouse moving sale, because I'm asking you guys to help us move. So there are some products we've had around for a while, some things that normally we reserve for National Scrapbook Day sale or Black Friday sale. It is all out there. Now, I won't say everything on the website is on sale, for sure not. But there's some good deals still to be had. Quite a bit has already moved and sold, but I encourage you to go check it out because you might just find something that you can't pass over because it's a good deal. And that warehouse sale, we will continue to run until we move. There may be, 10 things on there by the time we move, but whatever it is. So, but with that, I also need to tell you, there is a big red bar at the top of my website that says, due to high order volume, right now orders are taking between 5 and 7 business days, and that is definitely not the norm, but there are a lot of orders to go through right now because at the same time, we had winter spring season pass come back into stock. We also had the year in review project kit come back into stock. So we'll talk about those kind of as we get going, but lots of people have orders that they're expecting. Some of you, they're already out for delivery. Some of you, they've already shipped, and some of you, they're just still here, just waiting to be picked and packed. So just kind of a little heads up on that. All right. Carol, hello from Central Canada. Marion by the Sea, my friend in Washington State. Anna Cortez. Hello, Kelly. Hello, Joyce. Joyce has a package coming Monday. Yeah, quite a few of you do. So thank you. Thank you for helping us move. I appreciate that. Hello, Sandra. Sandra from Ontario, Canada. Paper Made Bakery from San Diego, one of my favorite places you live. I would love to live there. It's just like beautiful weather all day long, all year long. Laura, hello. Tabitha, nice to see you. Mary C. Plans, Georgia. Her first moving sale package showed up already, just in time for today's listing session. Yay! Oh, Joy. Oh, darn it. So Joy has shared with us in the past before. Joy is an amazing singer. And a couple of years ago, she shared in the Facebook group a link, I believe, Joy. You were singing at a ball game. You were doing the national anthem at a ball game. And she has shared with us in the past that she is friends with Barry Manilow and has met him a number of times. And I think you had the opportunity to sing with him maybe once, right? Is that right, Joy? Anyhow, she said, week hasn't been the greatest. Her awesome friend Barry Manilow had to cancel the Valentine's Day show. He's doing great after surgery, but not quite 110%. And you know what? The fact that he is still kicking, I don't know how old Mr. Manilow is, but yeah. Anyhow, so Joy, just hopefully you'll be able to see him again in the future, right? Phyllis, and you guys, that's what's kind of fun about our little Squirrel Squad community here. There's things that you guys have shared that I know about you that, it's just kind of fun. So I share, basically I'm an open book. I share my whole life with you and you know everything that's going on, but I love it when you guys share your lives too in the chat. Hello, Gigi. The pink and red, yes, kind of a little ode to Valentine's Day, right? That Valentine's Day is next Saturday. We will not be listing next Saturday because I will be on a plane over the ocean headed back home. We'll talk about that one too. But so we're not listing next Saturday, the 14th. Good morning, Elizabeth, Shannon. Oh, there's Nick from the other room, my husband. Hello, Sharon. You guys, this was so funny. This morning, right before I was getting ready to start, there was an event that I'm teaching at that is just getting announced this weekend. Can't say anything more than that yet. But I had to do a quick video for it. So this morning I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta do that video. So about 15 minutes before we started, I was doing a little video. And then about 3 minutes before we started, I'm like, everything is ready. And then I went, wait, I need my die cut machine, my Annie Griffin Empress Mini, so we can use it today. And I open my cupboard and it's not there. And I'm like, Nick, where's my die cut machine? And he looks at me like really? Like how I wouldn't even know what that is, let alone know where it is. I found it. I put it away in the wrong cupboard. So that was kind of funny. Good morning, Wanda. We'll have a little bit, of course, I haven't coughed in like 18 hours and now it's just probably from the excitement and a little bit of, just talking. So it'll be fine. It'll be good. Kathy, hello. Donna Mook, hello. Nice to see you, Kathy, another Kathy. Meredith, Pepper Bakery, Ginny and Harris, hello from California. This is her first live listing, right? Your first listing. I love that. I think you'll have fun with us today. I'm excited for you. Create Make Today, Anchored Memories. Hello, Luann. Nice to see you. John and Kathy Keener, loves Mike Griffin Moore. My mother's friend, who's not really my mother's friend, but I discovered that Love Mike Griffin's Moore has Brussels Griffin's dogs, which my mom is very involved in that rescue society and had Brussels Griffins for years. So hello. Deborah Jones, Cindy Holland back with the Purple Hearts. Let's see, Robin Morgan. Hello, Robin. All right, you guys. Hi, Patty. Patty, nice to see you. My friend Mary Lee is here as well. And there's Vicky. Vicky and I were on the phone this morning. I was getting ready and had my headphones on, my little earbuds or whatever, and we were having a nice chat. Hi, Terry. Nice to see you. All right, friends. Vicky said small business, working hard. Yes, we were chatting about some of the, we're women-owned small businesses, and chatting this morning about some of the challenges that arise and just working through, things. And it's really nice to have a very dear friend, Vicky, but also have a friend that is in a similar business that we can bounce ideas off of and kind of vent to each other, and each other understands things like that. So nice to see you, my friend. Let's see, fill her up. Yep, fill her up. Charlene said just started her journaling adventure since the kid 10 happy meal deliveries. So happy meal reminds me of, all right, guys. Miranda says she's a Fanalo. Is that like a Barry Manilow fan? A Fanalo? I love that. Kind of like the Squirrel Squad, but a Fanalo, right? Or Vicky's Boo Crew. All right, friend. All right. Sweater. Target, right? Cute, isn't it cute? There's two different colors. There's the kind of pink and red colorway, and then there's a kind of teal yellow colorway. Anyhow, I thought it'd be fun for Valentine's, right? All right, my friends. Oh yes, there. Target. Okay, my friends, I think I made it through most of the chat. If I missed you and didn't say hello, just know I'm saying hi to you. And thanks for joining us. All right, so let's just talk about a couple of housekeeping items. Again, we will not be listing next Saturday, the 14th, because I will be out of town. Nick, my husband, is in sales, and part of his territory is Hawaii. And so every year, at least once, we go to Hawaii. And I feel very fortunate to be his wife. Well, I feel very fortunate to be his wife all the time, but especially this time of year when it's time for that Hawaii trip, because, we pay for my meals and my airfare, but other than that, it's a free trip. So we are taking off tomorrow morning for that. So I will miss you guys next Saturday. We'll all be in the air next Saturday. So that's why we're not listing. We will be listing again. I don't have the schedule in front of me. The schedule is on the blog at lailbymail.com. Every time we have a blog post for our listing, the schedule is linked. All the emails that go out, the schedule is linked. I just don't have it in front of me. Listing schedule is a little loopy-doopy over the next month or so. Our older son is getting married on March 1st, and so we will be out of town for part of that. We will not be listing the second week of March because or the 6th, 7th, and 8th, whatever that is, because we'll be moving to a warehouse. And then after that, the 13th, 14th of March. That's a big one, my friends. So Friday night and then Saturday half day. So we'll end up with a full about 8 or 9 hours between Friday night, Saturday morning. That is the Lail by Mail listiversary. Year 6, you guys. 6 years we've been doing this. So if you've not joined us for one of those before, they are so much fun. But just know the listing schedule is going to be a little off the wall for the next month or so, because then I have another trip, Tokyo, for 2 weeks. So, but I'll be back with you guys soon. I promise. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled listing time, and I've tried to maybe shove in a couple of nighttime listing sessions in the middle there so we can still play. All right. So that was the first thing. Pardon me. Next thing. As I mentioned, moving sales. So if you've not checked that out, you'll want to go to lailbymail.com and check that out. 2 big things came back in stock, and I need to give you a heads up. One is the winter spring season pass. That sold out in 2 weeks, like record time. Those are back in stock again, but you guys, the reorder that I did is already halfway gone. So I'm just here to tell you, and I don't want anybody to panic buy. I say this often. I never want anybody to panic buy, and I don't say this often. I say that often, that I don't want people to panic buy, but this part I don't say often. I will never try to get you to buy something. But if things are starting to run low, I want to make sure that you know, so you have an opportunity not to miss out. And that's the winter spring season pass. I will be using that on 2 different projects today, so you'll get a really good feel for what that looks like if you haven't had a chance to see that. That is available in a kit, and then also all those products starting this year available a la carte as well. The other big item that came back in stock after selling out after only 2 weeks, you guys have blown me away lately. You've blown me away. Lily and Denise, who do all the order picking and packing everything, are like, is it ever going to slow down again? And I'm like, I don't know. It's a good problem to have, right? That one also sold out in 2 weeks. It's back in stock again. That one is also moving very quickly. And with both of those, once they're gone, they're gone. I pretty much put my our vendors, our suppliers, manufacturers through, getting those items reordered, and they like moved mountains to get those items produced for us again. But once this reorder is gone, won't come back. All right, so just kind of be aware of that. All right, I think those are the only two. Two housekeeping items for now. So let's do this. I know you guys didn't come here to just hear me, chat and look at me. So let's rotate the camera. Let me turn off the lights, turn on the lights, move the lights, all the things, and we'll get going. Okay? Okie dokies. Here we go. Get that. One of the things I'm excited about a lot of things for the warehouse move. Number one, I'm really excited to have the downstairs part of my house back again. I live in Utah. We have basements in Utah. So my business, our basements in Utah are finished, so it's part of our house. There's a guest bedroom / office down there, our bathroom, a giant great room, and then 2 other rooms so I'd say 2/3 of the basement is Lail by Mail. I'm very excited to have my house back again after 6 years, that part of my house. But also just excited. You guys, that's a big growth moment for my business, a huge step. So very excited about that. I was going to say something else about that, but no, I don't remember what that was. All right, so we are plugging in. Thank you, Colleen. Colleen, I always know that you're here, even if I didn't catch your name. Even if I didn't see who said that, Colleen is so good about always reminding me to plug in, because if I don't plug in, then we will lose power after a while. And with YouTube, once something happens, you're dead in the water. You can't restart it. So we are good to go there. I think we are all nice, and lights should be good. I think we're good. All right, friends. If while I was chatting there, while you were seeing my face, In a lot of cases, I would not have seen, I might not have seen your comment, or if you had a question, your question. So do me a favor, if you left a comment or question that you wanted me to see, now that I've rotated the camera, it's a lot easier for me to see because my iPad is now right in front of me, all right? So when we get started, usually what I like to do, I like to take a look at the lists we created when we were together last. This particular all of my Traveler's Notebook inserts from last year went off to Amy in Arizona to be photographed. And when we photograph for the idea book, when she photographs for the idea book, they have to get deconstructed. And what I mean by that is all the pages get separated. So in this one, I'm still working in it, right? I still have room to work, but all of the pages have been separated. So it's just a little bit, it'll be a little bit different as I work today because, none of the pages are together. So when we take a look at the list that we did last week, we had a nighttime listing session, didn't we? I had to cancel, I don't even remember now. I think one was a nighttime and then I had to cancel last Saturday because I was in absolutely no shape. No, 2 Saturdays ago. That's how long I've been sick. I was in absolutely no shape. I even got up and got in the shower and I'm like, oh yeah, this is not going to work. And then I had to cancel it last minute. So regardless, last time that we were together listing, one of the lists that we did is a list that we do on a monthly basis called Glimmers. Now, I actually did most of this while we were together on camera, and then I came back in. I did a little bit of mixed media. Well, if you call spray mixed media, using some distress spritz, and that's what I did. I came in and added a little bit of, kind of a lot of this distress spritz. Do you see that? This is fossilized amber, and it is a beautiful kind of gold color. But anyhow, when we worked together making this list last week, I documented my glimmers. And my glimmers, basically, that is a list we've been doing for a little over a year. And those are just those little bright spots in your day, really kind of everyday things, like maybe you saw a rainbow, or something made you laugh, or you heard the sound of a champagne cork popping, right? That was one of mine. Anyhow, so there we go. That is that list. We did some really fun things with this list. I did some fussy cutting on one of the papers using my X-Acto knife and kind of did my layers over here and did some stamping and different things like that. So that was one of our lists when we were together last. We did... I think did we only do 2 when we were together? I think we only did 2 because it was a nighttime one, and I just started losing steam because I wasn't feeling too hot. All right, the second one that we did a little bit of junk journaling and collage here. So this is something in my personal, kind of even a little bit outside of what we do on our listing sessions. I am really drawn to kind of this style of collage or junk journaling. So we had a lot of fun putting this one together. If you were kind of new to the idea of collage or junk journaling, maybe you want to go back and check out when we did this list. We did this one on the 24th, and it would have been kind of the second half of that. But I took some, this big background was I cut from a magazine. I cut this out of a book and kind of layered her on top, words out of the book, used some alphabet, ran some stickers. These, you guys, I have ordered now and they're coming in stock. So if you saw me use those and you're like, I love that kind of alphabet random look, those little stickers are coming in stock. So that was the second list we did. We had 3 lists on our list of things to cover that day, and we did not get to one of them. We won't be doing that one today. I have pushed it to 2 weeks from now, all right? And that list was things we're focusing on, maybe our goals, or for me, I'm calling it ins and out, things that I will be bringing into my life for 2026 and things I will be removing from my life for 2026. So kind of things are coming in and things are going out. That is, for those of you that feel a little bit too much maybe pressure of having to do a resolutions list or a goals list, maybe that might make things a little bit easier. Just things that you want to bring into your life and things you want to take out of your life. So we'll be doing that one in 2 weeks. Wanda said, I'm a little afraid of collage listing, but I might try it maybe. You know what, Wanda? The beauty with that, there are no rules. I mean, there are absolutely no rules. There are a couple of artists, and I will call them, they are not paper crafters. I mean, not that paper crafters aren't artists. We're all artists. But there are a couple of artists that I follow on Instagram that do kind of very cool junk journal, not even junk journal, more collage style. And I will, while I'm out of town, I'll kind of make a list of those, and I will put those in the Lael by Mail Facebook group. So if you want to maybe follow someone, I think what happens is when I start following people like that, I start to learn a little bit more about what that is. It's kind of like if you wanted to watercolor, right? You might follow someone on social media and kind of you start picking up tips and tricks. So I will share those. But it's a really fun, to me, it's very fun and very freeing, and there are really no rules. Okay, that's going to take us into our first list today. Our first list today is called, it's basically things I'm loving right now. All right, I mean, it kind of makes sense to do that this time of year, right? Things I'm loving right now. We're in February. You know what? February doesn't have to be all about romantic love, right? It can be about things that we're loving or liking. I think we can always make a list like this. What are things that I'm liking right now? What are things I'm loving right now? You could also do the opposite of that if you wanted to. Maybe things that you're disliking or not really liking or really hating right now. But we're focusing on the love side today. So I am being inspired today, and I noticed that she was here. Hello, Becky Moore. Becky Moore, if you don't know Becky Moore, Becky is my graphic designer. So if you have loved what you've been seeing with Season Pass, if you've loved what you've been seeing with the Year in Review, if you've loved what you've been seeing with our stamp sets for the last probably 6 or 8 months, Becky is a huge part of that. So with each of the season passes that we release, Becky kind of designs the product. And then I also ask her to put together some inspiration sketches for all of us, right? So if you go to the blog at laelbymail.com, you will see a little drop down. You can kind of sort blog posts by different things. And one of those options is free sketches. So there are probably, 6 months worth of free sketches out there that kind of go along with Season Pass, but really you could use them for anything. So for this particular list, things I'm loving right now, I will be using some things from the kind of the February portion of the Season Pass. So what I thought I would show you were the 3 kind of inspiration sketches that Becky has created. And I'm going to be working from one of those for my first list today. So with the 3 sketches that she always creates for us, there is always a 12 by 12 layout. There is always a traveler's notebook spread, and there is always a card. All right. So this is the sketch that she made for the 12 by 12 layout. All right. So you kind of, and I just printed this out, but this would be your 12 by 12 canvas if you're working on a scrapbook page. She's taken a couple of the papers, that beautiful mint floral, and then that kind of small little floral there. To create as the base. Those would be your photos. And then she's kind of sprinkling a couple of the different die cut embellishments and a little bit of stamping even. So that is a great, if you have Season Pass and you're looking for some project inspiration, there you go. That's great. Now what I love about this wouldn't even have to be just a 12 by 12 sketch. You could take this and build off of it for a traveler's notebook spread if you wanted, or even like a 6 by 8. So lots of different ways that you could use that sketch. You guys, I love that. We're hearing lots of wonderful comments about Becky. Yes, she's incredibly talented. Becky and I go way back. We actually used to work together at Basic Gray. Oh my gosh, that was back in, I think 2008 or 2009. So a long time ago. Anyhow, 2008. So there is one idea with the free sketches. This is the card that she created. And this is creating all with product from the Winter Spring Season Pass, kind of the February portion. Really simple card, but sometimes you just need a little bit of inspiration, right? You've bought the product and you're like, okay, help me be inspired. Give me an idea. And here's an idea for a card. Now with this wouldn't even have to be a card. This could be a tag. You could even use this kind of as, again, a starting point for a 12 by 12 scrapbook page or even a traveler's notebook spread. All right. And you'll see those on the website. You guys will also see not only inspiration from Becky as far as the sketches go, and this goes with all of the Lael by Mail products, but different ideas and how I've used them on the website, and then also my creative team, and they are very talented as well. This is the sketch for the Traveler's Notebook, and this is the one that I will be kind of working from today as my inspiration for this list. And you're gonna see I'm pretty much recreating this, but I'm doing something a little bit different over here. All right, isn't that rose paper? I know, right? It's gorgeous. So what I have done, let me, I'm gonna bring out just the season pass. I've already pre-cut some of my papers. So let me show you kind of the full versions of the papers that I will be working with today. And just as a quick reminder, all of this is back in stock. All right, season pass is back in stock. Not for long, but it is back. And these we do quarterly. So in March, we will release the season pass for April, May, June for summer, or excuse me, spring, summer. You always have 12 papers plus a cover sheet in the season pass. And because it's quarterly or seasonally, you end up with 4 sheets per kind of per month or per season. And these are the sheets that I've started to cut from. You have that beautiful pink plaid background with the cherries. I love cherries. They just make me so happy. A nice, very variable kind of stripe there. You have really pretty kind of floral. And what you'll notice here, you guys too, with the papers, none of these really have anything to do with Valentine's Day, right? These you could use for all different kinds of things, especially this guy, right? There's a little bit of red in there, and it's even this guy. So that's kind of the thought too. As we are kind of thinking about different designs and how it might be used, it's really important that we are creating product that work for lots of different things for you. Here are the back sides. So cute, right? And then we have this guy. You always have one cut apart sheet for each month, and those are the cut apart cards, and I'll be using that card. So as I said, I've already cut some of my papers just to kind of help us speed things along a little bit today. And knowing that that is my inspiration sketch, I am pretty much, for the most part, going to be recreating what Becky designed of her sketch because it's beautiful. So this is going to be my right page, and I am going to work, I'm going to call it off of the page, all right? I'm going to work off of the page. Since I'm getting near the end of my Traveler's Notebook insert, and since this one is deconstructed because it went out for photography, I'll be working off the page for my list. And then as I finish that, I will go in and, adhere it back in there. All right, let me grab my trimmer. I forgot to get that out. Pardon me. How are we doing today, friends? Are you staying healthy? Hopefully you're staying healthy. It's that time of year where there's a lot of crud going around. So take care of yourself. And I will tell you, if you have anything right now, sorry, I had to go across the room for a second. If you have anything right now where you're not feeling well, please, please, please take care of yourself. I basically shut down. I mean, I had to stop doing everything because I got sick. And even by shutting down, it still didn't really help me. So please take care of yourself. This time of year and always, right? Okay, so this is going to be my left page. So I'm going to cut this page to 4 3/4 by 8. And let's chat about why I do that. 4 3/4 by 8. When I am working in a Traveler's Notebook, I'm working in my Lail by Mail Traveler's Notebook. Let me just grab a blank one because that'll be a little bit easier to handle. My inserts are called standard wide. They are 5 inches wide by, 5 inches wide by 8.25 inches tall. And so for my style, I always like there to be a little bit of a white border around whatever I'm doing. So in this case, that will give me a little bit of a white border around, and I'll do the same thing for the other side. I had already come in and pre-cut. Ooh, I'm gonna need another one of those. Oh, I have it. I'd already come in and pre-cut my paper down. I need to just cut that down a little bit more to that same 4 3/4 by 8. So I cut that out of the 12 by 12. Oh, that is 4 3/4. Oh, I'm so smart. I already did that. I already cut it down. All right, so here we go. That is my spread. When I am working in a traveler's notebook, I like to round my corners. I round my corners because the pages of our traveler's notebook are rounded. So it just kind of helps to follow that curve, all right? Pardon me, you guys, I'm gonna keep doing that. Just bear with me, bear with me. Let's see, Paper Made Bakery said, Traveler's Notebook is brand new to me and I think I'm going to love the size. Paper Made Bakery, I am hooked. And I've been hooked, I don't know, probably about 10 or 11 years with Traveler's Notebooks. I have been memory keeping for about 29 years now. And this format, there's something very freeing about it to me. So I'm going to bring this over just so we kind of are looking at our sketch inspiration. And now what I need to do is I have this card. All right, so that's one of the cards that we cut apart from one of those papers. The other thing I need to do now is I need to back. There we go. I need to back that card because that's what she's done here. So let's go ahead and do that. If you've never worked with a sketch before, and actually this is kind of a sketch on steroids because I think traditionally a sketch is really, kind of like a sketch where it's, it doesn't have pattern and, product with it, but our sketches are very much, well, it's more than a sketch, right? It's a sketch on steroids. So sometimes you might be inspired by a sketch in different ways. Sometimes it might be a color combination. You might not have any of these products, but you're like, oh my gosh, you know what? I love this look of the red and pink with some white and then green. So you could be inspired by just the color combination. You could be inspired by the topic. Loving this. For the record, what am I loving right now? That may be the only thing you're inspired by is the topic. You may be inspired by the general kind of design. You might like this design, but use completely different product. Or you might be doing what I'm doing, where I'm like, you know what? There's no need to reinvent the wheel here. This is a beautiful sketch. And so I am going to be very inspired by it, right? I'm basically going to recreate it. And I'm going to do something a little bit different on the left side because I'm not using photos. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and get this guy right here down. And we'll use the February portion one more time in one of our lists later this month. So don't, we won't be done. We won't be done with it because that whole mint pie, that whole mint side of the collection, I really need to add. I need to bring into something else. Carol said such a cute sketch. Will you add journaling? Carol, I'll be making my list over here. And this is where I'm going to depart a little bit from what is over here because this sketch is suggesting you could put little photo strips there. But I'm not using photos. I'm making a list. So you'll kind of see what I do over here, my idea for that. All right, let me get my Sharpie out because if you know me, I have to do this on everything. Get my little Sharpie pen out and outline. That's something I've done at least for 20 years. To me, things just look naked. They look naked if I don't do that. So just adding a little bit of outlining here tends to frame things a little bit, especially when you are using similar colors. When I have this against this, it kind of tends to blend a little bit, right? Because it's that same pink. But if I add that little black outline, it helps to kind of make each of these pieces pop as I'm layering. And I will also do this. You'll notice as I'm doing this, oh my heavens. You'll notice as I'm doing this, my sweater matches the paper. I wasn't going to say that. But when I'm doing this outlining, I'm right-handed. My arm is fixed. It is resting on my work surface. That really helps to keep things steady-ish. You'll also may have noticed that I didn't move my arm around like this. I moved my paper instead of moving my arm. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. This is not meant to be straight. If I wanted it to be straight, I would have a ruler, right? But it's just kind of, you know, not meant to be straight. It's a little arty. Okay, you'll notice I didn't do my outlining in the center because this is a 2-page spread, so no, it wasn't on purpose. I mean, I knew it's like February, kind of Valentine's, so I thought this would make sense, but yeah, that was not on purpose. That was just kind of a happy accident. All right, so next thing I need to do. We have just a little bit of pattern that we're using on this side, right? So that is this cherry pattern. Now what I'm going to do, now that I see this, I am going to come back to, hang on, I just need to grab something over here. This is my kit that I have been working with. When I pre-cut my papers, there, I've got a horizontal one. So let's move that because this guy is going to go kind of across here. If we're kind of doing our exact same thing that Becky started with on the sketch, we'll go like that. And then this guy will bleed a little bit into this. So I'll just kind of have it go over a little bit more. Now, she's used a little bit of a smaller piece, but I think we'll make ours just a little bit smaller. The reason, let me talk about why I think I want to make this smaller. This piece is, and I already know, it's 4 inches tall because I had cut my 8-inch tall pieces out. This is 4 inches. This piece right here is 8 inches. This is exactly half, all right? And so I'm going to make that a little bit narrower because I don't want it. It looks a little bit too uniform to me because this is 8, this is 4. So we'll just kind of narrow this down a little bit. Maybe we'll go to like 3.5, maybe 3 1/4, just so it's not, you know, so even. It's time to replace that blade, I tell you that much. All right. So now, see, and it's just, I mean, it's, you almost don't even notice it. It's just a little bit, but it's just enough. And the other thing that I'm doing, you'll notice, I'm not putting this in the center. Well, I'm having it be a little bit taller on top than it is on the bottom. And that for me is just, again, it's kind of when you think of the rule of thirds, you have your top third, your middle third, and bottom third. The rule of thirds kind of says is that don't necessarily put things in the middle. Put things either in the top third like that or the bottom third like that. So I'm going to go with that bottom third. So if you've ever heard kind of that term, the rule of thirds, there's a little idea of what that is. Wanda, Lael, is the 2025 planner book ready yet? Wanda, will you tell me what you mean? Do you mean the idea book? Do you mean the 2025 idea book? I'm not sure if that's what you mean. But guess what? Should we have a squirrel moment? I think you guys will appreciate this squirrel moment. I am going to show you a little sneaky peeky. This is my proof from the printer of the 2025 Listing with Lael idea book. This will come out on March 13th. Now this is just the proof, and I will show you the cover. Oh, there it is. Isn't that it? She's a Butte Clark. She's a Butte Clark. If you know where that, you know, Christmas Vacation. It is beautiful. Becky completely overhauled the idea book. The design, you guys, you're going to love it. I mean, it's stunning. Anyhow, so yes, that will come out March 13th. That will come out March 13th. And if you're like, wait a minute, what is that? What's an idea book? That will be our 4th idea book. Those are idea books contain all of the lists that we have done in the past. So we had the first idea book was for the first 3 years, 2020, 2021, and 2022. And then we did 2023 and we did 2024. And the prior year's idea book always comes out the following year, right? So the idea book that you will see come out in March is all of our 2025 lists. All right, so let's see. We need this to go about right. About right. We need to make a little pencil mark right here. But the other 3 idea books that I mentioned, those are out. Those have been out a while, and you'll find those on the website. They are great inspiration pieces if you are just getting started creative listing. They're great, like I said, inspiration pieces. Kind of talk you through some of the different types of lists that we do. The idea books always have the links to the lists, the videos where we created the list. They tell you what time to fast forward to start watching that list. When you order, let me get some right here. When you order the idea books, you automatically are sent an email to also download the digital version. What am I doing here? Download the digital version of the idea book. Oh, look what I did. I made it too short. That was not very smart, Lil. I made it too short. That's okay, because guess what we're going to do? We're just going to scoot our little card over a sec. It's because I was trying to talk and work at the same time. Sometimes it's like trying to talk and chew gum at the same time, if you know what I mean. All right. Anyhow, idea books. Let's just move this over a tad. See, no use crying over spilt milk. We just move it over a little bit. Or, you know what? No, I can't really do that. We're just going to keep it. Because now it's going to be a little bit off center. Whoopsie, a little bit off center. Let's not put that upside down. A little bit off center, but that's fine. That's okay. No one's going to notice. All right, so there we go. Now we have, going along with our little inspiration piece here, we have this little label. This little label will be so cute right there. Do that. And then we have the cherries, right? We have cherry paper over here, so we might as well bring in our cute little cherries. Those are die cuts from the kit. You can buy the whole season pass kit. We're using winter, spring right now, or you can buy the a la carte pieces. So you can get everything a la carte. The stamps, the die cuts, the paper pack. In fact, some people buy the season pass kit and then they might even pick up an extra paper pack. So you have 2 sheets of everything, of all the papers, or maybe you need more die cuts or something like that. So there we go. So if you like using sketches to be inspired, the idea book would be great for you, because then you'd have basically all the lists I've ever done to be inspired by. And in this case, I'm using the exact same product even, but I'd say idea book wise, you'd probably be more inspired by maybe just the layouts or the list topics or things like that. All right, there we go. All right, so now we're going to kind of move over to here. I will come in with, pardon me, I tell you what, it's just Murphy's Law. I have not coughed in, I don't know, maybe 18 hours. And of course, now that we're together, I'm coughing. And you know why? I'm coughing because it's a lot of talking. But it's okay. I'll do my best. I'll do my best not to be annoying. All right, so what I just pulled out, I pulled out the rub-ons. All right, so rub-ons are new to Season Pass this year. Season Pass all year will have rub-ons as part of it. This has 2 sheets. So your rub-ons have 2 sheets in the pack. You have the color sheet, and the color sheet, as you can see kind of visually, is broken out into the 3 months, January, February, March, and then you have the black sheet, all right? So what Becky had done here, she's got this little piece that says "for the record," and that is one of our rub-ons right there. So let's talk about rub-ons 101 for a minute. When I use rub-ons, some of you are like, rub-on, what is a rub-on? A rub-on is basically a transfer. If you think of, and it works different, but it kind of, if you think of like Cracker Jacks back in the day, remember when you'd get a box of Cracker Jacks and you had the little tattoo? And a little tattoo you'd put on your skin, and then you'd use like a wet paper towel to kind of transfer the rub-on art, the tattoo art onto your skin, right? Well, rub-on is similar but different. Basically, it is a design that you want to transfer off of the sheet onto your skin or your paper, all right? But they're super sticky, right? They don't require water to, it's not really ink. They're like sticky. All right, so when you open rub-ons from a package, there is the rub-on sheet or the art, and then there is kind of the protective backer sheet. The protective backer sheet is very important. You want to keep these together. If your rub-on sheet becomes separated from the protective backer, your rub-ons are going to transfer somewhere where you don't want them to. Trust me. So usually what I do when I open a new package of rub-ons, the very first thing I do, I get out my stapler and I staple that art sheet, the rub-on itself, to the protective backer. That's going to make sure that those aren't coming separated. All right, that's the first tip. If you don't do that now when you use rub-ons, I really encourage you to do that. This is the guy I need for the record. So I am going to come in with my scissors. Chipmunk on the sled, I know, isn't he so cute? He's darling. All right, so now I'm going to come in with my scissors and I'm going to cut away the rub-on that I want to use from the rest of the sheet. This guy, for the record. It is much easier for me to work with a rub-on if I am only working with the rub-on that I want to use and not the entire sheet. All right, so I cut it away. Remove the backer because we don't need that anymore, right? And I am going to take the rub-on and I'm going to set it right there. All right, for the record. Now, the key with rub-ons is once you set them down, you do not want to move it. Okay, that's really, really important. Don't let go. We are channeling our opposite of our inner Elsa from Frozen, right? She always says, let it go, right? This we don't want to let go. That's super important because it's sticky. If it moves, then part of the rub-on is going to be in one spot. And if it moves, the other part of the rub-on will be in another spot. So we just want to hold on. I am taking this little tool. These little tools I've sold for a long time. These are now sold out. And Tonic Studios isn't making them anymore. So we are working with one of our suppliers, crossing fingers, to create our own kind of little rub-on tool. The rub-ons come with a popsicle stick, right? Popsicle stick totally works. You can use the popsicle stick. Basically, we just need to rub the rub-on so it transfers from the rub-on sheet onto our project. And I'm going to just use this little tool, all right? I'm putting my fingers on the left side so I can get the part on the right side. And I am just moving either my popsicle stick or my little, whatever it is, my tool, my bone folder, whatever I'm using, across that rub-on so I can transfer the design from the sheet to the to my paper. Now you'll notice what I'm doing here. I'm rotating this. I'm still holding on over here. While I'm still holding on, I'm now going to put my finger here and then move over here. So I've never let go, right? I want to make sure that is staying in place. And now I am working on the other part of that rub-on. All right, so now I think it's good. Notice I'm still holding on. I haven't let go yet. Oh, where are my, oh, here they are, my tweezers. I take little reverse grip tweezers and I am just lifting up on that sheet. I want to lift it up. I'm still holding on. I'm lifting up to make sure, is it all transferred? Is it all transferred? Does it look good? If it didn't look good and I somehow didn't get part of that transferred, I would lay it right back down. I'd grab my tool again and I would continue to rub on. And because I've never moved it, I've always been holding on the entire time. If part of my F and 4 didn't get rubbed on, it would still be in the right place because I haven't moved it. All right, so all of that took me about 10 minutes to explain. When I do that and I'm not explaining, it literally takes me about 30 seconds, okay? So super easy to use. And the nice thing about rub-ons is it gives you the look that it was printed on there, right? Yes, dear. What do you need?
Nothing.
Oh, Nick just walked in. Nick now knows how to use rub-ons.
Yeah.
He was very intrigued by that.
I'm packing my rain jacket.
Oh, no. That's not a good sign, friends, when you're headed to Hawaii and you're packing a rain jacket. It's like 100% chance of rain tomorrow and Monday. But that's okay. It's better than snow or rain at home, right? All right. I will tell you guys, and if you're watching live and you're in the chat, you will see that people are echoing this. You guys, my rub-ons are amazing. They're like butter. They go on so smooth and so easy. So There you go. We've added my little rub on there. Now we're ready for this side. Now we're actually ready for our list. So our list topic, if you've just joined us, is things I'm loving right now. See, for the record, loving this. I don't need any other title because these are the things I'm loving. Now in Becky's sketch, these are little photo strips, but I'm not using photos, right? I'm making a list. And I thought, but I like the aesthetic, I like the overall design aesthetic for this. So this was my thought. I thought, you know what? What if I made strips for my list that looked like photo strips? So then I started thinking to myself, okay, what do I have that would work for that? Do I have a stamp that would work for that? And I said, oh, guess what? I do. Ooh, you know what? I like that idea. Someone just said, Mary C. Plans Georgia said, will you use the red scallop rub-on under the cherries? That would be fun to use there, wouldn't it? I think we might do that. I think that would be really fun. In fact, why don't we just do it right now? Let's do it. We'll use a rub-on again. And in this case, I won't walk through what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it. And you'll see how quickly it goes. Now, what's going to happen here, because I need to cut that whole rub-on off. This is now no longer stapled. So guess what? Just come in, same thing, staple that. The whole point of stapling again is so that it stays connected to its backer sheet. That protective sheet. The rub-ons, these little scallops, are, designed for a specific length on purpose. And that's what's so nice that when we're, designing our own products is that we get to decide what we need. These scallops are 5 inches wide. At least 5 inches wide, right? Because that's what we need. Our Traveler's Notebook inserts are 5 inches wide, right? So I am not going to do any on this side because I don't have enough to go all the way. And I think it would, even if I did a little bit less on this side and did a little bit more, actually, you know what? I am going to do that. So I'm going to put that down. I put it, I'm sticky side up for a minute, and I want to just tape. I'm going to use some highlighter tape to tape this spread together on the back. Just so, don't mind that. That was a piece of scratch paper. So I'm just going to temporarily, that's a lot of them, tape this together. The reason I'm going to tape that together is so that I can make those rub-ons span my spread. All right, there we go. And actually, let me put a little bit more down here because that's where my rub-on is going to be. All right, there we go. Now I can take this guy and let's do this. So it's a little bit on both parts. Okay, so I've laid that down. Again, don't want to let go. Oh, I said I wasn't going to talk through this, but that's okay. So just doing my little, depending on the color, especially black and the red's really dark, so I can actually see it. You guys probably won't be able to see it, but I can see it when the rub-on releases because then it gets kind of cloudy on top. It's really clear right here, but when it releases, it gets cloudy because it's no longer on the rub-on sheet. It is on the, it's on my paper. All right, here we go. I love that idea, Mary. There's my little scallop border. And let's double check, make sure it's all good. Everything looks good. All right, there we go. That is a fun addition. Okay, now we're ready for our list. So again, I want to emulate that a little bit. And so what I thought I would do, I am going to take the In the Box 2 stamp set. Hi, Denise. Yes, I am doing much better, Denise. Much, much, much better. Uh-oh. Pardon me, right after I say that. So In the Box 2, let's grab stamps, pull them out, and I thought this is the one, right? These are very dirty. These are very, very well loved. I haven't cleaned them very well. But this guy, right? Because this guy looks very similar to kind of the boxes right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use white because my white might get a little lost up there. I am going to come in and just use, let's see how this looks. the grid paper. That's a 6x8 pack of just grid. And then that guy, all right. I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to go, actually, if I do something here, the whites are a little bit different, right? So I don't want to put white on white, but what I will do, what will work is if I take a piece of, let's see, if I take a piece of maybe red cardstock and just a little bit like that. Now the red's not quite, right? I pulled out, what did I, you know what? How about this? What if we do, I think the green might be fun. So this is what I'm thinking. I am thinking I can I do 3 of these? Let's look. Let's just see what happens here. Where'd my pencil go? All right, so if we've got this one, and then if we've got this one, and then if we've got this one. Aha, that will work. So I'll be able to stamp there, have a little bit in between, there a little bit in between, and then it will be shorter than the height. So that will be perfect. Let's stamp first. And I think I'm going to use black, but I'll pull in a little bit of color. And I'll show you how I'll pull in a little bit of color after we do the black. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that this is the only black I use. It's the VersaFine Clair Nocturne by Sukaniko. It is a pigment-based ink. In my mind, pigment-based ink equals a juicy ink. It gives me really good coverage, and so I generally like to use pigment-based inks when I am stamping. This was out of stock. I brought it back in. Sukaniko has raised their prices. So retail, it's $13.49 now. I think I have it marked down to $12.99 or $12.49 just to try to make that price increase that they did not as, right? So if you've used that ink, if you've waited for it to come back in stock, it is now back in stock at lailbymail.com. Just know the price increase is not mine. It's the manufacturer, and they're a Japanese company. So, you know, just things get more expensive. Tariffs, lots of different things. All right, so I'm going to ink up this stamp. Let's get that nice and inked up, and I will test it. I was doing some stamping last night in my memory planner, so I was a mess. You should have seen me. I had ink everywhere. And I was apparently feeling really confident as I was stamping because I was stamping with black ink. I had a white shirt on, like a little white jacket, which was like, oh, Lael. And I kept thinking, Lael, you're going to regret this. You better take it off. And I never took it off. And luckily, I never made a mistake. I mean, I never got black ink on me. So, all right. So here we go. We're going to do this. There's my first one. And we'll do our second one right here. There we go. And we'll do our third one right here. All right, now I need for there to be 2 of these, right? So if we're looking at our inspiration sketch, there are 2 of these, and I'm not going to put photos in there. I'm actually going to write my list in there. So what I will want to do is, I'll just do the same thing right next to it. We want to give ourselves a little bit of room for a border, a little white around it. We'll do that again. So there are 2 currently different in the box stamp sets. There's in the box, there's in the box 2, and we are using in the box 2. There is a new one coming out mid-March. There is, no, February, with the February release, February 16th. February 16th is our next stamp and die release. And there is a new in the box coming out with that. I think you guys will be, I'm very excited about it. All right, so these in the box just kind of give you a little bit of frame for your list or your journaling or whatever you're doing. All right, okay, so that's good. Let's get that cleaned up. I'm gonna clean that off right away while it's still wet. Makes it much easier to clean if you do that. I'm just using a little stamp chamois for that. Everything I've used so far, you'll find on the website at lailmail.com. Okay, now let me put these away, because if I don't put that away right away, you guys know, then I start to lose things. Let's get that back on the sheet. And there is a die set that actually goes with that. So if you're into metal dies, there is a die set that's I kind of just put on the back of that and stored all that together. All right, back in my stamp storage sleeve, and we'll get those put away because I should be done with using those now. So I could have, if I kind of wanted some more green to show, I could have stamped each of those and then put each of those through the die, the coordinating die, and ended up with 6 little pieces instead of long strips, but we won't do that today. Let me just come in and erase those little pencil marks. If you're using a pigment-based ink, I was very gentle with that. Your pigment-based ink takes a second to dry, so I didn't want to come in and drag my hand across that right away and, risk smearing it. Okay, let's move some of these things out of the way. So, let's see what we think about that. Okay, we're a little bit too wide over here, so let's narrow that down a little bit too. And then let's chop that off. So even if you're not a scrapbooker, or even if you're not someone that normally works with photos, right? You would look at this and think this is a sketch that you'd add photos to, right? You can turn anything into an inspiration piece, even if it doesn't exactly match your type of crafting, which is what we're doing. We're not using photos here. We are making our list in those little boxes of the things that we are loving. Whoopsie. The things that I'm loving right now. Maybe not the things that we're loving right now, because there may be some things on my list that I'm loving that would never appear on your list. So let's talk about that. What are some of the things you're loving right now? If you're watching live and you want to pop in the chat and tell us, I know I would love to hear some of the things you're loving right now. Hello, Laura. Nice to see you, friend. Laura Lee, Rosie Posey Studio is here. She is one of my amazingly talented creative team members. She has already received all of the stamps, so she knows what I'm hinting at. The newest in the box. Oh, hold the presses. Carol, Costco dill pickle salad. Like what? I love dill pickles. I love dill. That sounds amazing. I'm gonna have to check that out when we get back in town. Mary, I love that. Mary is loving listening with Lael. Let's see. Paper Made Bakery. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Is loving Lael by mail. Kate's loving Lincoln Lawyer. Yes, new season of Lincoln Lawyer. Shannon's loving hot tamale candy. Let's see. Oh, okay, Laura, they're coming. Kate's loving live listing package salad. They haven't. Oh, Carol. Wah, wah. They have it in Costco in Canada. I'll have to see if they have it in Costco in the US. I hope so. All right, so here we go. Here are our little strips. And they can kind of, as I'm making my list, we just kind of need to, probably what I need to do, not probably, I do need to do this. I need to adhere these now. Oh, no, not yet. We're putting our green in, right? See why we need the green? Can you guys see that that is, the whites are just, this is more of a yellow white and that's more of like a white. Yeah, we got to put the green back there. So let's make it, it'll just be a little tiny bit. It'll just be enough to kind of break that up. And then also kind of bring a little bit more of the green into the party. So we'll just do that. Like that. And make another one for us. I don't know, right about there. Then if we only have to trim it once, that might work well. Okay. So I put it on the floor. Love audiobooks. So isn't that interesting? So I love to read. I cannot listen to an audiobook. The only time I can listen to an audiobook is not even if I'm driving. Nick has to be driving. So if we're like going somewhere in our RV or something like that, I can listen to an audiobook. Otherwise, I can't, I lose track. I just can't, my attention span, I can't, when I'm crafting, the only thing I can listen to is the radio, not the radio, music, right? I can only listen to music because if you lose track with music, it doesn't matter. I can't watch a movie. I can't listen to a movie. I can't listen to an audiobook unless it's got like 100% my sole attention. And I'm a bit of a squirrel with ADHD, so it's hard to get my attention, keep my attention. It's hard for me to keep my attention. All right. So we'll do those there. Oh, and so you know what? Now we've lost, well, we still have cherries. We could still see our cherries over here. I think we might end up coming in with another cherry somewhere over here. We'll figure that out. All right, so let's get these guys adhered. Because what I don't want to have happen is I don't want to write something and then have it get covered up with, you know, as I'm kind of layering these guys, one and then the other. So let's do that. And then this guy, whoops, maybe this guy needs to go down just a tid, just a touch, just a tidbit. And then this guy can go right about there. Okay, now I said I was going to bring in a little bit more color over here. And you might have thought, well, Lael, why did you do the frame in black? Why didn't you do the frame in maybe the pink or the red? And I said, well, because I had a thought. Instead of, oh, we can just take these off. Instead of doing that, I'm going to come in with a colored pencil. And I like to do this technique because, not technique, it's just I'm basically going to color inside those lines. But it shows you that you don't have to have colored ink. You could certainly just use black and then bring in your colored pencils if you wanted to give you a little bit of color. So I have all of my colored pencils swatched because if I'm trying to find the right color, and this is just one of my sets of colored pencils, but if I'm trying to find the right color based on what like this looks like, this never looks like that, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to come in to, this is my Castle Arts. So everything's swatched. And if I am looking for, do we want a red? I think we should have a red because over here we have a lot of pink. I think we should bring in a little bit of that red. So let's try to find, we have a couple of different reds going on here, right? We have this red, and that red. So let's see. What if, I think this one, scarlet red. So let's find scarlet red over here. And I'm going to show you the difference. This is why you swatch. Scarlet red looks like this. Look at what we would think scarlet red looks like. We might never pick scarlet red because we think it's too dark. But when you actually use it, so swatching your markers, your inks, your colored pencils, your pens, whatever it is invested time, right? Because it takes you time to do all of this. But look at how much time it just saved me. If I hadn't done this, I would have to pull out all of my reds and then start making marks on a paper until I found the red that I thought I wanted to use. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my red and I'm going to color in those little spaces in between the stamp. And you might be like, well, Lael, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I'm not sure I'll like that. So is there a way I could try it to see if I really wanted to do it? And I say, yes, there is, if I can find it. Because remember when we did our test stamp in here, didn't we? When we did our test stamp, oh my gosh. Okay, come on. Oh, there it is. When you test stamp, you're testing to make sure that your stamp is clean, that you like the color of ink that you've used, and that you know how much pressure to apply. But you can also then use that test stamp to try different things, right? So if I think I might want to do that, but I'm not sure, I can come in and say, do I like the way that looks? I do, right? If I didn't like the way that looked, I could say, oh, maybe I want to use a pink, or maybe I want to use green, and I could try it here without having ever committed here, all right? So you're testing is there for a reason. But I like the way that looks, so now I'm just going to come in and I will do one of these and you'll see what a difference it makes. And again, you don't have to buy all the colors of inks. I mean, you can start collecting inks over time, but you can always do something like this where you're using your black and then come in and color it with your colored pencil. So, right, what a difference. It just kind of added a little bit more color to our overall. And then I brought black in over here with my outlining, right? So now everything is kind of cohesive, copacetic. And I'm just going to keep coloring in those little guys. For the most part, when I am writing my lists, I use black ink. That's just what I use. I'm not much of a colored pen type person when I'm writing. But using a colored pen for your list or your journaling or, you know, whatever you're doing, that would also be a way that you could bring a little bit of color in. All right, so let me just get the rest of these little guys colored in. And then we will be ready for our list. The things I'm loving right now. There's some things you guys are loving that I want to love. Like the dill pickle salad. That sounds great. Oh, I mentioned Jack, our older son, is getting married on March 1st. They live in Tacoma, Washington. And last Sunday, I had a bridal shower for his fiance, Kat. So Kat flew into town, and Kat's maid of honor and Kat's mom. And we had a little brunch on Sunday here at the house. And as I was kind of figuring out what we wanted to have, one of the things that I found the recipe for and then Nick made, thank goodness, my mom came over that morning and my mom co-hosted the shower with me, but my mom came over that morning and Nick, as I was, I was just sick. I couldn't even really, I couldn't do much. But I did get the flowers ready and stuff like that. But Nick made the best. I found a recipe. If you guys know Ree Drummond, Ree, I think it's Ree Drummond, the Pioneer Woman. She has an amazing recipe for a chicken salad that has fresh dill in it, and it was so freaking good. I can't even tell you. So that needs to go on my list too. All right. So now let's see. Right before we start our list, I feel like we need something else over here before we kind of dive in. So going back to our rub-ons, because I've already used all of the cherry. I've used the cherry die cuts. Now I don't know, maybe we could do something like this. That would be me talking, right? Maybe we do something maybe we do like something here, something here, something here. So if I were to do that, I might do this here. And then I think I would want maybe a cherry over here. And then maybe we put this little heart over here. I don't like that heart there because it is see-through. So let's see. Let's look back to this guy. We could do a little rose. Let's figure out what we're going to do with our cherry. Let's figure out our cherry first. Let's put this guy, no, maybe he needs to go down here. So one thing now that I see this, I can see there's something I could have done. Maybe does this guy, let's move him. Does this guy come up here? Here? We're going to put him right here. Right there. There is something that I could have done. Really, I should have waited to put down that scallop. The reason I should have waited to put down the scallop is look what we did. We covered up most of the scallop. If I had waited to do the scallop, I could have only used part of it, right? I only needed little pieces, and then I could have done the same thing up there. But that's okay. So if you're using an element, whether it's a sticker or a die cut or a rub-on or something like that, before you use it, think about how it's going to look when it's finished. And if you're going to cover up a bunch of it, there's no sense in wasting all the part right there. You can use it somewhere else. But that requires forethought, and I wasn't really thinking about that, was I? I will put that recipe for that chicken salad in the Facebook group, Lael by Mail Facebook group when we're done. So if you're not part of the Lael by Mail Facebook group and you're on Facebook, well, go to Facebook, right? Go to Facebook, search for Lael by Mail Facebook group. There's a page and a group. The difference between a page and a group on Facebook is that a page only I can post on. You can comment, but only I can post. But a Facebook group is private and anyone in the group can post. So it's kind of a fun place to be. People share their lists and different things like that there. Lots of squirrel memes and things. All right. So let me get these. Let me just move these off. Actually, you know what I do have? Looky here. Looky here. I'm going to cheat because I can. I have another pack of rub-ons here. Let's just do this little, we're just going to put that guy. We'll pretend like I did have foresight and did this, right? We really only need a little bit of this here. Let's take 3 just in case. So maybe there's a reason why you want more than one package of rub-ons. Let's do this right here. I need that. Okay, that's what you don't want to do. Do you see what I just did? Yeah, you don't want to do that. I wasn't thinking there. We're going to fix it. Don't worry. You see how I ripped off the top part of that? But all I'm going to do is put that right there because that's where it belongs. It will look a little bit, yeah, it'll look a little bit off, but no one's going to know. It'll be our little secret. Okay. So, moral of the story is, this is something you want to do before you put anything down, right? Not after. Don't do what I do and try to make that work, because it doesn't work super well. All right, come on, get in there. Release. All right, let's see now. Yep, there we go. Oh my gosh. Ta-ta-ta-da. Let me get that other little tiny part on there. And of course, part went on my work surface. I'll deal with that later. Okay, so we've got a little bit of rub-on on top now. And then there's, yeah. So now we need a little bit more. Oh, yeah. Look at the can of worms I've opened. I've opened a big old can of worms now because now we need a little bit more right there. All right, bear with me while I do this really quick, okay? Just bear with me because if I don't do this part, it's going to look really weird. Let's get this little guy here and we'll do this like this. Right there. There. Now this side will look beautiful. Not all jackety, because it's a little jackety over there. All right. Now we're good to go. Okay. So now we're going to write our list. Now we're going to write our list. Hello, Glow. Nice to see you. All right. So I need I just had another idea. I'm going to grab the stamps from Season Pass, Winter Spring Season Pass. Let me grab the ones that I have used. Those are photography, unused. All right, and I'm going to take this little guy, our little cluster right there of hearts, and I'm going to put a little cluster, I think, in these other little boxes. So let's grab our little stamping block. And so sometimes a list is just an excuse to play, right? Which is kind of what's happening here. We're just having fun playing. If we do Maybe one little one there. We've got to decide where we want them. We also need ink. And I think the ink, the red that I matched with that, I think is Barn Door. So, Barn Door is, oh please. Oh, there it is. Barn Door. So let's look. Barn Door. Again, swatching, right? So when I swatched my colored pencils, I used the Swatch This Pens and Pencils stamp set. And then here, this is the Swatch This inks stamp set. So again, we've got a couple different reds going on. So Barn Door, I think Barn Door is going to be closest to the cherry. So let's go with that. All right, we still need to test this, right? Important to test, so let's just test right here really quick and see. So it's just kind of this cute little cluster of fun little hearts. Where would we like them? I'm thinking we'll go here, and then we'll go here. All right. I don't think we need any more over here because then it's too much. Like if I go here and then here and then here, then it's a little bit too much. So I think we'll stick with that. All right, now to the list. Now we're ready to the list. Liz, this is the Winter Spring. It's the 2026 Winter Spring Season Pass stamp set. So that comes with the Winter Spring Season Pass kit, or you can purchase that separately, a la carte. Okay, now it's time to write our list. I need a bullet stamp. And so what I need to do, let me clean this guy off and put him away. I need a bullet stamp. And a bullet stamp, I am just going to basically start writing the things I'm loving right now. And they won't be, numbered. They won't be sequential. They're just going to be one big run-on. Because they're one big run-on, I need something to visually separate each of the items on my list. So I am going to grab a bullet stamp. Bullet stamps are teeny little single stamps. All right, so there are 3 different bullet stamps. You have Bulletin More. That was one of the very first stamps that I released. You have Bulletin More 2, and then you have Bulletin More 3. And I know I want to keep this super simple with just a little heart. So I'm going to grab the really simple little heart bullet stamp right there. And I am going to grab my stamping stylus. Stamping stylus is a really long stamping block. When you have a little teeny tiny stamp like this, even if you have a small like this, it's a little bit hard to work with because you can see how small that stamp is compared to your stamping block. One of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you when it comes to stamping is to right size your stamping block to your stamp. What I mean by that is you want your stamping block to be as small enough, as close enough in size as you can to the size of your stamp. Just makes it much easier to handle. So that's what I've done. I've used this little stamping stylus. That's one of my products. You'll see it on the website. Michelle, will you be teaching a class at Little Craft Fest? I'll be there and would love to take a class with you. Michelle, I'll be teaching 3 classes, 3 workshops in addition to having a booth there. Yes, so it will be. I'm not sure when Little Craft Fest puts, when the registration starts for the classes. But that is something that some of them sell pretty quick. And I don't mean just mine. I mean all of the workshops. Some of them sell out very quickly. So that's the kind of thing that you want to kind of be watching for. All right, so here we go. There's my little heart. And I'm glad now I didn't put hearts everywhere, right? Because those hearts would get in the way of that heart, and there's lots of hearts. All right, one of the things I'm loving right now is Nuun. N-U-U-N, electrolytes. It's an electrolyte little tablet that you put in your water. I have been drinking a ton of water. Well, I try to drink a ton of water as it is anyway. But I've been drinking a ton of water while I'm sick, and that just gives a nice, very faint, a little bit salty-ish, but flavored. Flavored with something besides salt. Tastier water. And because it has electrolytes in it, especially if you are taking like a lot of cold medicine and are getting a little dehydrated and a little dry, yes. So I love that. I love Nuun. Let's see. Posting all the various workshops this past week. Yeah, registration I know happens sometime in February. I just don't know offhand when. So Nuun electrolytes, it's something I'm loving. I am also loving the barbecue BBQ. The brand is Wild, W-I-L-D, protein chips. They are yummy, yummy, yummy. And serving, there's like the barbecue, I think it's like 12 or 13 grams of protein. Now, they are basically chicken chips. They are made with chicken and chicken broth and yeah. So my mind has to get past that a little bit. Oh, hello, Reggie. Hello. Go get in your bucket, please. Don't mind the cat butt there for a minute. All right. Anyhow, another thing I'm loving, barbecue wild protein chips. The buffalo ones, Heather, buffalo ones are yummy. They're too hot for me. But I love it. But then I love the idea of it. And then I get some and I'm like, oh, too hot. Marion by the Sea. There is a cost for workshops at Little Craft Fest. Yes. So Little Craft Fest, if you are not familiar, is a big stationary event. And that's stationary with an E, like paper, not stationary like, fixed, not moving. It is an event that takes place in Conroe, Texas. This will just outside of Houston. This will be year 2. Last year was the first year they did it. It is a mixture of vending, so lots of different booths that people, stationary things people are shopping, and then there are also workshops. So you need to buy a ticket to shop and go in the vending area, and you also need to buy a ticket for workshops. You can attend workshops without buying a ticket to the vending area, but you can't do the opposite. You can't get your tickets for the workshops and then go into the vending area. So if you want to learn more about a Little Craft Fest, I would say go to Google and type in Little Craft Fest and you will find out information about that. Don't be worried because I think all the classes are still what they're showing from last year. So they would all sell out. They haven't started putting up the workshops yet. All right. Okay, so next up, what else am I loving? I am loving, oh yeah, this is a bad one. A Oreo mint blizzard from Dairy Queen. Oh my gosh. I dream about those. Now, what's interesting, and I did not have COVID. I tested twice for COVID, didn't have COVID. The second test I took was also a test for influenza A and B, didn't have that. Had a chest x-ray, no, that was clear. So whatever I had was just, whatever. But during that time, I completely lost my taste of sense and smell. 100% lost taste and smell. And if you've ever had that happen to you, you can taste like the sense of sweet and salty and spicy and like citrusy. So when I couldn't taste anything, I could taste the sweet in that. So I had a couple of those. I'm not going to lie. I had a couple of those over the time I was sick. Those were so good. I love those. Another thing I'm loving right now, feeling almost 100% again after being so sick. You know what? I think, what did I say? I think it was about 17 or 18 days I was sick. And so you get to the point where you're used to not feeling well. And then when you start to feel well, you're like, it's like the heavens open and the angels sing, right? You're just like, I'm loving feeling better. And you forget that, a lot of time, at least for me, I feel good. So when you don't feel good and then you start to feel good again, it's just like so special. So I'm loving that. I'm also loving my albuterol inhaler. That was very nice to have. My doctor prescribed that, and that has really helped. I think, I don't know. It's hard to know sometimes what helps. I am loving. I have a light box for photography. That, when I am photographing projects, when I'm photographing things for social media, all of my lists go to Amy for the idea book to be photographed. She's a far better photographer than I am, and has more of a professional setup than I do. But it has made it so easy having Lightbox. Just that the light is anyhow. Just having a big light box to photograph. I've been loving that. Let's see. Yeah, it is almost like I didn't realize how sick you were until you start to feel better, right? Yes. Albuterol makes you jittery. So, Mary, it's not too bad. It hasn't been too bad. But I think I've self-diagnosed myself with ADHD. I think I am discovering at my age that everything I read about it, that is like me to the T. And so I'm always kind of like that anyway. And so I don't know if I notice a difference with the albuterol, but I know some people it does for sure. Another one is I switched to a Tempur-Pedic pillow. So, let's see. Tempur-Pedic pillow for my neck pain and migraines. Holy cow, I had some doozy migraines while I was sick, which that, you know what? Put a fork in me, I'm done, right? Just put a fork in me, I'm done. You throw a migraine on top of that twice during that time. I'm like, okay, come on. Like, what did I do to the universe to like deserve that migraine on top of? And both times I woke up with them. And I think I'm hoping maybe this may be part of my migraine issue. That when I start waking up with them, I think what's happened is I've slept on my neck wrong. I have some back issues. And I think that sleeping like that all night then triggers a migraine. So I have a new Tempur-Pedic pillow, and that, holy cow, at least all this week has made a world of difference. So I'm very much loving that right now. I am loving working ahead on new product development. I have mentioned in the past that with my business, it feels more and more lately like we are driving down the road at 60 miles an hour and trying to change not one tire, but like all tires at the same time. There are lots of moving parts when you're manufacturing. And we have really, really, really been focusing very hard on being ahead of the game in terms of timelines with product development. We have all of March, I think all of March is already done, and most of it is already here. The entire spring summer season pass is already done, and it is already here. All the products are here and all kitted and ready to go. We've submitted all of the artwork now for the big May release, which is a brand new travel collection. So we are working ahead of the game, and that has made all of the moving parts just function so much more efficiently, and relieved a lot of stress of me, Lily and Denise, Amy, Becky. It really has made a huge difference. So that we're really working hard and really continuing to work hard on that. So we're starting to see some good results from that. What else? Oh, another one. I am feeling good in my clothes. Not naked. I will never, no matter, even if I was a supermodel, I would not feel good naked. I just wouldn't. I think that's a female thing. I'm feeling good in my clothes. I have worked really hard on that the last year. And, you know, this time of year when you're pasty white, another thing I'm loving is self tanner, which you will see next on my list. That's why I have some color. I did it this morning. But when you're pasty white and you live in Utah and then you're headed to somewhere tropical and you're going to have, you know, little skirts on and tank tops and bathing suits, when you're white, I always joke, fat white looks much worse than tan white. So, but feeling good in my clothes, especially in the middle of winter when I'm pasty white, about ready to head to a tropical destination, it just feels good. It feels really good. And I'm not where I want to be yet, but working towards it. So I'm loving feeling good in my clothes these days. Also, as I mentioned, I am loving self tanner. Self tanner to for a little bit of color. Before heading to Hawaii. Self tanner, what the best invention ever, right? It's much better than being in the actual sun. And then when you live somewhere in the winter time, you can't even really, if you wanted to, be in the actual sun to get some sun. Much more healthy and takes far less time, right? What else do I have? Oh, okay. I discovered, so if you've known me for any period of time, you guys know I share all the things, but I don't cook. Nick does all the cooking in our house. Well, when Nick travels, then, okay, now what happens? So I discovered something. I've seen them at the store a lot, but I've never, I don't know, just never bought them. This last week, Nick was out of town all week, and I discovered something called, where is it? Kevin's Paleo Entrees. Kevin's Paleo Entrees. So, Kevin's Paleo Entrees. Paleo, if you're not familiar with that term, it's basically just eating a lot of protein. And I very much just shortened that down to one very small sentence. But they're high in protein meals that are so good. We had two this week. One was like kind of a Mongolian beef, and they're already pre-cooked. You just kind of heat them up on the stove. But the other one that we had yesterday was like a green curry chicken. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. They have them at Costco. Good to know, Mary, because I will go, I'll get them from there. But they are so, the flavor, you guys, holy cow, amazing. All right, lots of questions about the self tanner. Saint Tropez, that is the one that, and I've tried tons of different ones, and I keep always circling back to that one. It's my favorite. Saint Tropez, ST.TROPEZ, Saint Tropez. All right. What I just had something in my head. I had something in my mind of what I was going to write here. Oh, I know. Working in a memory planner again. So I was memory planning back in like 2017, 2018, and then I fell away from it for a long time. And I have had so much fun working in that again. All right, so that is, here we go. That is, that's all I have on my list. So guess what? I need one more thing, friends. I need one more thing. And then you know what, Paper Made Bakery, I'll squirrel again for another minute before we move on to our next list. Guess what? I've totally forgotten about giveaways, guys. Giveaways, right? That's important. We need to be remembering our giveaways, don't we? How about this? First giveaway, live giveaway. We are going to do a live giveaway. The way giveaways work when they're live, they happen in the chat. So get ready to chat away. I need to add what's something else I'm loving, right? I need to add something else I'm loving because I need to finish this off and then have it be done. How about this? Being able to taste and smell again. That's important. one thing I want to mention as we are kind of doing this, this is very much, you guys, this is a time capsule, right? When you think about it, this is a time capsule. This is a very specific point and time of what I'm loving in my life. So if I do this a year from now, you know what? The things on my list are going to be really different. There might be some things that are the same. Like I might still be liking Noon electrolytes. I might be liking the Kevin Paleo meals. But there are other things I'm not going to, well, hopefully I'm not going to be liking being able to taste and smell again, because if I'm liking that, that means I lost it for a while, right? So very much a time capsule. And that's a lot here of what we do. When we're doing our creative listing like this, we are making a little time capsule. Okay, I will end up dating this, but I need one more. You know what? We're just going to do something like this. What if we put those right there? That works, right? I don't need to make up one more thing that I'm loving. I'm sure if I thought about it for a while, I'm sure I'd come up with something, because, there have to be more things I'm loving than that. Oh, I know. I'm loving the Winter Olympics being right now. I don't know about you guys, but I love this time of year every 4 years when the Winter Olympics, kind of crop up. I love it. All right. I am going to put my little date right here. So this would be February 7th, 2026. It's a good idea to date your lists. All right. Oh gosh, shows, all kinds of shows. Landman, but it's done again for the season. Olympics, love that. What else have we watched? We've been watching a lot lately. All right. There is one more thing I'm going to do. And I was going to get out my die cut, my Anna Griffin Empress Mini to do this, but I won't because I already had some that I've pre-cut. So I'll just show you what I did, and we'll see if, oh no, I think we're going to have to do it. I think we're going to have to do it anyway. Let's see. Let's just see. So one of the new products that we released in January, so last month, was a set of heart metal dies. All right, so your metal dies are working with any of your die cut machines, like your Sizzix, or Sizzix has a machine, right? Or your Anna Griffin Empress Mini. There's a ton of Cuttlebug. There's a ton of different machines, but basically you're taking your dies, running them through a machine like this, and I might need to do this because I might not have the right color, with your pattern paper, and then you end up with something like this, right? So you end up with the inside of the shape, well, really like this. You end up with the inside of the shape, and then you end up with the outside of the shape. So what I was thinking is, I don't know, this might be too much right here. I was thinking I might do something like that in here, but I think it's going to be too much. If I were to do it, I would do it probably with red, because then it would stand out a little bit more. Let me just really quick. I'll just do this really quick. I know. I said we'd do the giveaway, so just give me one more second. Let me do this, and then we'll see if we like it or not. And then we will move on. And this kind of thing, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do all three at the same time. Just that I have. So let's get that guy, let's get that guy, let's get that guy. So your metal dies. I've got my little Anna Griffin Empress Mini here. This is a little mini die cut machine. It's electronic. So basically I get it ready and I push the button. It does all the work for me. But basically all of your die cut machines are the same premise, super heavy. This is 8 pounds. So there are rollers, metal rollers inside that are rolling your sandwich through your plate, your sandwich, and your paper. And the pressure of those metal rollers rolling through is going to cut the die into your paper. So we're going to, got my little sandwich, my bottom plate, with this machine, a magnetic mat, and then my top plate. So I will put my paper down. You want to put your die face down. And I'll just do all three. I might as well, since I'm going to do it. Put my top plate on top. That's a little opening right there. So my sandwich goes through that opening. And I press run. Yeah, it's an awesome little machine. All of my dies, all of our Lail by Mail dies, fit that machine because we're working in a smaller space, usually in a traveler's notebook. All right, so here are my little hearts. And I have the outsides and the insides, right? Because it cuts out both. So let's see if we think we want to do one of those little metal hearts. Or not metal hearts. We don't want a metal heart on our project. That would be a very, not expensive embellishment, but I mean, it'd be like a little $3 metal piece that we'd have there. That would be silly. There are stars just like this that came out in November, I think. Okay. So let's see, now that we have those cut, if that's something that we want to do over here. If we did a red, no, it just really probably doesn't need it. Actually, what if we turn this around? And we turned that around. You know, it just doesn't need it, right? You see how it's just kind of, it seems like it's being forced, don't you think? It just seems like it's being forced. So we'll keep those for another time. Now I've got this collection of hearts cut. And that's the kind of thing, if you're going to the time and trouble to get out your die cut machine, to get out your dies and your paper, you might as well, you know, do some so you have when you're ready to use them another time. All right, so to bring this all back to full circle, that was the inspiration, right? That's the inspiration. That is one of the 3 sketches that is out there on the blog, and you can see it with all of the winter spring season pass. That's one of the sketches that Becky designed to help us be inspired by using the product. So I thought, I haven't done that before. I've never basically like recreated for one of my projects based on her sketches, which that's the whole point of sketches, right? Is to be inspired. Now just remember, this is all, it is all deconstructed. It's all, the pieces are separate in this particular traveler's notebook right now because it went out for photography. And when it goes out for photography, it has to get deconstructed so everything lays flat for the photo. So it's just a little bit funky right now. And this guy goes over here. Now what I need to do over here is I'm going to bring in some different adhesive than what I always use. You always see me use my little tape runner, right? The sketches. So Kathy, the sketches, yes, Becky does the sketches for us for every season pass. So basically with this season pass, winter, spring, there are 9 sketches, 3 for each month. And you will see those on the season pass products on the website. But also if you go to the blog, lailbymail.com, and go to the blog, there's a little filter at the top of the blog. Click on that drop down filter and you'll see free sketches. And then that will show you just all the sketches. And you can download them. You can right click on them and download them, or just, you know, print them or be inspired by them or whatever you want to do. So I am coming in with a different adhesive here. This is Suquang. It is a double-sided tape, right? It's 1/4 inch double-sided tape. The reason I am using a different adhesive right here is because once you get so far in your traveler's notebook like this, you have this big old curve right here because there's a lot of stuff that's happened here. And if I were just use my regular adhesive, this will stick and this is going to want to pop. We need something really strong for that to hold. That's why I've used that double-sided tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel back a little bit of that release paper on each of those 4 strips. All right, so you'll see I didn't pull the whole thing. And the part that I peel out of that release paper, you'll see it's facing the outside, not the inside, it's facing the outside. The reason for this is your double-sided tape is super, super, super sticky. I'm going to get this down, then we'll do the giveaway, okay? Sorry, I got sidetracked, squirrel. So I am using this double-sided tape because it's really sticky. That's what I need, right? I need it to be really sticky. But it's really sticky, which is also a downsize. It's sticky, meaning as soon as I even try to get this in place, it's going to stick wherever I put it, whether it's straight or whether I like it in the right place or not. So by only revealing a little bit of sticky, that gives me some wiggle room. So I'm turning this upside down. I'm right-handed. That makes it way easier for me to do. and gives me wiggle room. I can kind of look like this. Does it look good? It looks good. So I didn't have to commit, right? Only the parts that are sticky are the places where I had revealed the sticky. So now these become little pull tabs for me. That's why they're all facing the outside. And I gently pull them and then press down. And now that tape is going to hold that down. If I used my regular tape runner, there is no way it would hold that down. It's just gravity, right? Gravity wants to take effect and get in our way there. All right, so there you go. That is our first list. Things I am loving right now. All right? Okay, friends, let's do our prize. So the way I pick the prize is I just stop. I scroll my finger up in the chat. Wherever my finger stopped, that's the person that wins. All right? So the winner is Paula and Shane won. Paula and Shane won. Congratulations. You are the random lucky winner, our first winner today of that season pass winter spring stamp set. So please send an email to lailbymail@gmail.com, Paula and Shane won. And in the subject line, please write season pass stamp set winner. In the body of the email, please give me your name and your mailing address, and the team will get that shipped off with you. I'm going to say in the next 2 weeks. They've got a load of orders that they need to get shipped out first, but once they get through all those, they will get your prize shipped, all right? So congratulations. If you are not Paula and Shane won, don't be sad yet. I have more giveaways that we'll do, all right? So don't be sad yet. And we'll do some more. All right, we'll do some more as we continue. But we are going to move off of our first list now, and we're going to move to our second list. All right, our second list is, okay, let me back up for a second. Let's just talk about, actually, all 4 of the lists that we're doing today would be lists that would be great to start out with. They'd be great list topics to start out with if you are just getting started creative listing. One of the biggest questions I get asked from people is, okay, if I want to get started creative listing, I don't know where to start. And you know what I say? I say, well, just start. And they're like, no, well, that's not what I want. I want you to tell me where to start. And I say, okay, here are some list topic suggestions. This would be a great one. That's a great place to start. What are you loving right now, right? What are you loving right now? What are you liking right now? What are you disliking right now, right? That would be great starters. But our next list is something that particularly this point in time is a great list to start with because it's the beginning of a new year. And it doesn't have to be. You don't have to start this list at the beginning of a new year. But this one is called About Last Month. It is called About Last Month. About Last Month. Oh, I need a hydration break. Let's do 2 hydration breaks. Let's have a coffee hydration break, and also let's have a water hydration break. Okay, whatever your hydration beverage of choice is, do it. Okay. That's a big gulp of caffeine. All right, now we better follow that up with a water chaser with a little bit of Noon electrolyte in it, right? Okay. The only reason I said that was because that's on my favorite things I'm loving right now list. Okay, so our second list. Our second list is a list called About Last Month. About Last Month is a list we have been doing for 5.5 years. We have been doing this list every month for 5.5 years, all right? Let's talk about this list. And I'm just going to open up this year's idea book just to kind of give you a feel for what this list is all about if you are new to this list. So About Last Month. Basically, it is a list I do at the start of a new month, right? So we're at the beginning of February. I'm going to do About Last Month for the month of January. Basically, what I do is I pick some photos. I use a stamp set. So every year I come out with a new About Last Month stamp set, and I write my list. So basically, the only thing that is changing from year to year is the stamp set I use. It's all the same premise. And as you look at this, you'll start to see it definitely looks the same, right? And that's part of what makes it so easy and approachable, because you're not reinventing the wheel every time. Basically, you're adding photos, you're doing your list, you're doing a little stamping, maybe adding a little bit of, stickers or die cuts or something like that. And because it's the same thing every month, it makes it really approachable. If I were to sit down and do this without you guys here, it would probably take me maybe 45 minutes to do. And I know we all have 45 minutes to an hour that we can spare every month to do something like this, right? I don't know how many hours there are in a month, but I'm pretty sure we all have 45 minutes to an hour that we can give ourselves, right? We can allow ourselves the time to do something like this. So we have been recording our memories. What happened in our life, what happened in our world. It definitely makes it simpler to have kind of the same format going forward every month. And that's, sometimes I change the way I do the photos, and today I will change the way I do the photos. But sometimes I'm basically just printing out photo here, and that's it. And then I make my little list here and call it good. So about last month, pardon me, I probably have 66 of these. I probably have 66 of these because I've been doing them every month. I have not missed a month since we started doing them in August of 2020, which is a great way to look back on kind of what, your world, what's been happening in your world. So because it's a brand new year, we have a new About Last Month stamp set for the year. And that is this guy. This is 2026 About Last Month. You will still see all of the past About Last Month stamp sets on the website because they are still being used and still being sold. So as long as people are still buying them, I will still carry them. But this is what you will see me use all year long. So for all 12 of my About Last Month lists, this is what you'll see me use for the year. This 2026 About Last Month stamp set. So with this particular stamp set, it is a 6x8 stamp set. It all the whole idea of it revolves around this grid. All right, so you see that grid? The grid, you have room for your year, your 3-letter month, and then you have this little space at the bottom where you can put a phrase. Here's the story about last month, month in review, or loved this. So I'm going to take this and show you a couple of examples before I use it. Again, this, when you go to the website and you look at this product, the 2026 About Last Month, you will see a number of different examples of how I've used it and how the creative team has used it. And those will continue to be added to throughout the year. So if we start with this guy, that's the stamp, right? So I stamped the little grid and then stamped the year, stamped the month, stamped About Last Month, and then over here, you may have noticed that there were also numbers, 01 through 12, 01 through 12. Those are meant to be the numbers of the months, January, February, March, and so forth until you get to December. So for that grid, that is December, not December 12th the day, but the 12th month is December, 2026 About Last Month. So that's one way you can use that stamp set. Then we move to the second way. Let me just do this. And this example you'll see on the website too. This one, I have flipped that grid upside down. So when we look at it this way, there's the grid right side up, and there's the grid upside down. It gives it a totally different look, right? Same premise, totally different look. And when you switch up the ink colors, that makes it look different as well, right? So that stamp is designed to really be used both ways. Then the stamp can also be used this way. So it looks the same when you first look at it, right? You're like, oh, Lael, I already saw that. I know that, right? The same thing. And then you go, wait a minute. Now there's a 17 there. Well, there was no 17 on this stamp set. This went 1 to 12, right? Well, there's an add-on stamp set. The add-on stamp set has 13 through 31. Now that can turn those two stamp sets together into working for the month like we looked at, but also looked at documenting a particular day, right? So those additional numbers, 13 through 31, now you can document specific days using that same grid and all the same pieces, all right? So that's how that stamp set is designed to be used. Now, I will tell you, we won't do the giveaway yet, all right? But that is the next giveaway. Not yet. I'm going to get started. We'll work for a while, but this one of these will be this guy. The 2026 About Last Month stamp set is the next giveaway. I will tell you, this add-on set sold out within days. This also just came back into stock too, all right? You guys, I tell you, have blown me out of the water in, I shared this before because I share all the things with you guys. You guys are part of what I do. Last year we had 40% growth. We had 40% growth in 2025 in our sales, which was huge. Like, you guys blew me so far out of the water. It was crazy. So, I thought I had a really good handle on inventory and how quickly things sell. And now I'm back to square one because you guys keep totally changing it up on me, which I love. No complaints here, but all right. So usually when I start this list, I usually start out with the photos. All right. So I have printed 2 photos, but really I printed 7 photos, even though I only have 2, right? 2 5x7 photos. I really have 7. And those of you that took my year in review class with me earlier this week on Monday, these are going to look familiar. Kathy, I do have more customers, more orders, but also the average order amount increased last year as well. So kind of all the things are just moving and shaking and coming into place. I think one of the big reasons for that is I feel like we have really hit our stride in terms of design. I think I now have a really good handle on what my style is and what I want the products for Lael by Mail, the brand, to look like. You pair that with Becky, graphic designer, and her amazing talent, and the two things just gel really well together. So I think that's why we're seeing a lot of growth. The other thing is because the planner market, the planner world, the whole planner, working in a planner, whether it's a memory planner or functional planning or bullet journaling, that market really started to take notice of me last year. And a big part of that was Little Craft Fest. And so having different types of customers than I've traditionally had also has been really instrumental in the growth. So just tells me we're doing some of the good thing. We're doing some of the right things right. Yep, Joyful Sojourn, Janine, she is a big part of that as well. All right, so I said I have 2 photos, but I really have 7. The reason I have 7 is that. So these are 5x7 photos. On this one, I have printed 1, 2, 3, 4 photos on a 5x7. On this one, I have printed 3 photos on a 5x7. And here's the deal. There's another one, Mary C. Plans. Here's another one. Not Mary C. Plans, Hand Can Plan. Yes, Hand Can Plan also. I didn't have to have any special type of photo printing. I didn't have to have, let me say how you say this. I didn't have to have any photo editing software to do these, all right? I've used an app with my printer for this. So I didn't have to use Photoshop. I don't have to know how to use Photoshop. I don't have to have necessarily a special printer, like a small printer, if I want to have little small photos like this. I use the Epson PictureMate PM400 printer for 95% of my printing. The Epson PictureMate PM400, all right? That is a powerful little printer. It prints 3x5 prints, 4x6 prints, and 5x7 prints. But the power in the printer, in my opinion, really comes into the app that goes with it, and that is the Epson Creative Print app. All right, Epson Creative Print app. The app has pre-configured templates like this, and it makes it really easy to print something like this, where you get smaller photos in one large photo. All right. Wanda said she still haven't learned to use the printer yet. Wanda, if you have not watched my free class here on YouTube on how to use the Epson PictureMate Creative Print app, it's free. Go watch it. That is probably a 45-minute free class that I put together, and I show you how to use all the amazing ins and outs of that app. And it is really the app, you guys. Kathy, hang on, I want to address that. It is really the app where all the power is. Kathy said, too bad the printer is discontinued. Kathy, it is not discontinued. The Epson PictureMate PM400 printer is not discontinued. I talked with Epson. They assured me it has not been discontinued. It is sold out everywhere, and it's been sold out everywhere for a little while. They're producing them. I don't know if they've had some kind of supply chain issue or whatever it is, but they told me it has not been discontinued. So I think a lot of people think it's been discontinued because it's sold out everywhere, but they have told me it has not been discontinued. So I don't want anybody to panic there because you can't find it anymore, because they still have it. They should come back in stock. It just, the lady I talked to had no idea when. All right, anyhow, that's how I get all these little photos. Sometimes I will cut these up, and this is a great way to be able to cut up cut up a photo and get your small little photos without having to have one of the small little like portable photo printers. Jillian, what 5x7 photo paper do I use? On my website, there is a link that's called Favorites. And on that Favorites, I have a link to my Amazon. And on my Amazon, I have kind of broken out the printer. I've broken out all the different sized photo paper I use. So you'll find it there. And if you don't want to go dig for that, actually, I think it's in the description box of the video now that I think about it. Pretty sure I put it in the description box of the video. All right. So what I'm going to do, I am going to use all 7 of these photos on this right-hand side page. All right. When you're working in a smaller format like a traveler's notebook, or maybe you're working in a smaller format like a planner or something like that, and you don't have a lot of room, but you want to add a lot of photos, you kind of have to get creative. That's one of the ways to get creative, is to print multiple photos on one photo itself. But another way to do that is to create a couple of little interactive elements, and that's what I'm going to do here. So this is going to be my base photo, and this one I am going to adhere right to the base of my page. Okay, so get my adhesive there, and this guy is going to go down right, like, actually I need to trim it just a little bit. Even though my photo is 5x7, and even though my traveler's notebook insert is 5x8.25, I have to trim the width just a little bit, because you lose a couple of millimeters for your binding in the center, for the staples, all right? So we just need to make that a little bit narrower. This is my base photo. And I will talk about the photos that I'm using here, like what the photos are, who's in the photos, what they're about, when I start doing my list. So hang tight for that. All right, so there we go, 3 photos. But now I have 4 more photos I want to add. And if I add them like that, well, why did I do this? I just covered them up, right? So if I want to add more photos to photos that are already there, anytime I do that, I'm using a product called Tip-In Tape. Tip-In Tape. There are actually now 4 different versions of Tip-In Tape. This is not my product, but is a product I carry on the website. My friend Lauren Phelps invented this product. And it is, and I order a lot of it from her, and then I sell it on my website. But in my mind, it's like the egg carton. Like, do you ever look at the egg carton and say, wow, that was a great idea? Is there, like, I wish I could have invented that, right? Because the guy who invented the egg carton made a lot of money. This is that same type of product. I'm like, there is definitely a need for this product, just like there's a need for an egg carton to hold your eggs safe. There is a need for this product, and this product has met that need. When you're working in a surface like this, where you don't have a way to basically add additional pages. It's not like I have rings that I can just open up the rings and punch holes and keep adding pages, right? This is fixed. I can't really add pages, but I can add pages if I use this, all right? Doesn't the printer have an ink and paper kit you can buy? Wanda, maybe? I don't know if Epson does. I know like Canon Selfie does. I think that's the only way that you can buy the ink and the paper is together. But Epson, you can buy it separately with the Epson PictureMate PM400 printer. You also don't have to use Epson paper. I don't use Epson paper. You need to use their specific ink cartridges, but you don't have to use their paper. All right, so let's talk about what this product is and why I'd want to use it. First off, I'm going to cut this photo again. Well, I'll cut it. I haven't cut it yet. So I need to narrow it down. We already determined that on the other one. We just need to make it a little bit narrower because it's a little bit too wide. We lose a few millimeters, right? I shouldn't be using my trimmer that way. I shouldn't be going up and down that way. All right. Because I get little fuzzies like that. I also need to replace that blade desperately. All right. Oh, something that is discontinued. If you've taken a class with me before, you know I use that big green Caterpillar trimmer. They have discontinued those, which is very sad. Oh, don't need that. All right, so I'm going to cut this photo in half. And there's a couple of ways I could cut it in half, right? I could cut it in half this way, or I could cut it in half this way. The whole point of cutting this in half is so we can see what we have below. I am going to cut it in half vertically. Basically, I'm creating a set of French doors here. French doors, it's a left door and a right door that both open independently of each other and they meet in the center. Those are French doors, all right? So I just created French doors. The whole reason I want to create doors is so that I can see in the house, right? If these are the doors to my house, the doors open and I can see inside the house, right? My photos open, I can see more photos. But now I have to figure out how am I going to attach these here? Right? I can't necessarily put adhesive here because when I cover up, that's where the tip-in tape comes in. Your tip-in tape is a matte, clear PET tape or PET tape. Polyethyl blah, 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 right? We don't need to know what that is. But it's a clear matte PET tape. This PET tape, PET tape, has release paper. Remember when we used this and we had the release paper, right? The paper peels off and it's sticky. Well, this also has release paper. What's unique about this is that this release paper is split so that I can peel off one side of it and it's sticky. The other side is still not sticky while I work with it. So I need to create a little bit of, I'm gonna create a piece over here and it's not sticky yet. All I'm doing here is measuring it. All right, so we're going to do that. And actually, I need two of these. I need one for each of my doors. So there's one. And here is the other one. Okay, so I'm going to use this tip-in tape to be able to adhere these photos on top of this photo so my doors will open. Now, when we look over here, I can adhere this tape to this edge, but then I've got the other side of this tape. There's nothing over here for that tape to adhere to, right? Like if I wanted to do something like this, let's say I wanted to put this here and have this open, but I've got a bigger surface on the outside. I could do this and have this extra part of it adhere to my base, right? But when I'm adding this to the edge, I don't have anything to stick that to. So I'm going to fold this in half. Fold it in half like this. And I will peel off one side of the release paper, right? I'm going to leave the other side. This side is sticky, this side is not because it still has the release paper on there. And I'm going to turn this over. There's my photo. This is my outer edge, so we'll put it like this. And I want this to adhere right here along the edge. Oopsie. right here, a little bit too high. Let me just drop that a little tiny bit. Right there along the edge, all right? So not sticky here, but it's stuck to that. Now what I wanna do is pull back that release paper, and this is going to adhere to the edge of my photo, all right? Your tip-in tape is acid and lignin free, all right? What that means, it is not going to harm your photo. It will not harm your paper. Acid and lignin free, so it won't harm your photo or harm your paper. Now I have the right side of a French door that opens up to reveal, we did that a little quick, that opens up to reveal the photo underneath, all right? So I'm going to do the same thing now on this side. And these photos that I'm using are just photos that I took and printed that are representing what happened in my life during the month of January. You don't necessarily have to use a full length. I always use a full length, but you don't necessarily have to use a full length. When I do it this way, I feel like I should do a full length just because it's not really holding on to anything else, like if I put it down here, if that makes sense. All right, so now we'll peel back the release paper on this side. Ouch. If you're working in a planner, if you're working in a traveler's notebook, a composition book, a bullet journal, whatever you're working in, basically, if it is something that you can't take a page out of or put a new page into easily, this works really well for that. I did not. It's not even. We're just going to pretend like it is. That's just me going too fast. All right. So that is how your tip-in tape works. Tip-in tape could also work if I wanted to take, maybe I had a photo and I wanted to just put it right here at the top of my page. I could do the same thing with that. So lots of different uses or applications for it. Some people say you can use washi tape for something like this. And here's the deal. Hello, my friend Elizabeth Williams. You're famous. You're so funny. That's my friend Lizzie right there. I was at a retreat, not a retreat, a retreat with some friends in January, and that's one of the photos from there. Lizzie, famous. Okay, now where was I? Anyhow, tip-in tape. It's pretty awesome. Sometimes what you'll see me do is, I was talking about washi tape. You could theoretically use washi tape for something like that. Here's the problem with washi tape. Washi tape is not intended, that is not the use for washi tape. Some of you know you've had washi tape. Some of it's really sticky and works really well. Some of it's not so sticky and doesn't work really well. But it's not meant to be functional, kind of like this, to be able to turn pages back and forth and things like that. So the other problem with washi tape, especially if you are trying to tape it maybe onto something like this, then you get the pattern of the washi. The pattern of the washi covers up whatever you are trying to tip in or add, right? So you'd end up with little washi, and maybe you don't care about that. But the fact that that's clear and it's matte, I think it's just the best thing ever. I love the tip-in tape. All right, so there we go. There is the start. Now, once I get there, usually I start looking at some of the different maybe die cuts or stickers or things that I want to use. So that's what I'm doing next. Steph said you could flip the top photos up at the top as an alternative. So I've used that technique a number of different times on my Saturdays. Sometimes we'll do a waterfall where you can do that same thing where you've got your tip-in tape up at the top and you just have a photo that lifts. You could put another one under that, another one under that. I think the one I did, let me look and see if I can find it here. We did one where I think I had like 24 little photos because I had like 4 of those that I had done in a waterfall pattern. But offhand, I am not sure. I don't know where it is. You'll see it in the idea book when it comes out or in one of the past videos. I'm not sure where it is. All right. So next up, I usually now try to bring in a little bit of color and pattern, right? So next up, I am going to pull die cuts from, again, the winter spring season pass. All right, so these are all die cuts from the winter spring season pass. And we just used die cuts and paper and rub-ons and stamps from the February portion of this winter spring season pass. This is the January portion. The whole idea behind season pass, actually, those I cut from paper from the season pass. But the whole idea behind season pass is you get a snippet. You get a snippet of product for each month. You have enough, depending on the type of project that you're doing. I don't know, I could probably do 4, 5, even 6 lists with 1 month, just because between the paper and the die cuts and the stamps and, oh, I didn't even use the word strip stickers, for each month in the kit, it really kind of goes a long way. But you don't necessarily need a full winter collection to work with, or maybe a full Valentine collection, right? So just having kind of a snippet for every month of the year, for every season, that's the whole concept behind Season Pass. All right, so now we need to bring in some fun things, right? This is January, so I probably want to bring in a little bit of winter-ish. This little guy, that little snowman, is he not the cutest ever? And what I like more about the snowman is our little friend here, our little squirrel. This is the new version of our mascot of the Scatter the Squirrel that Becky designed. So you'll start to see him more and more this year, but that is him. So I think, oh, okay, we got to talk about one of these photos first of all. Nick, when I was at this retreat, Nick sent me this picture. This is a bird feeder in our backyard that a little squirrel decided that he was going to go help himself too. So that is in our backyard. So squirrels really are a part, although I've never seen a squirrel do that in our backyard, and we've lived here 7.5 years. So I think this might be fun to go right there, don't you think? And all I'm going to do is I am going to adhere that just to this side of the page. So it will still open and we can see the photos inside. So we just want a little adhesive kind of here, right? Just enough to hold it, but not enough to, actually we probably better put some, maybe a little glue right here on his little arm. We'll just fill in a couple of those places. All right, and this is going to just stick right over here, like that. And it has latched our French door closed, but it has not locked it, right? If I like glued that whole thing down, then I just took a whole bunch of time to do that and would have made a lot of sense because we wouldn't be able to get in. So it's latched, but not locked. All right, so now let's see what else we might want to work with. We have some snowflakes. Oh, winter memories, right? These are winter memories. What if we did the same thing down here? I think we'll do that. So I need to put really only, in this case, the top quarter, because we don't want it to adhere along the bottom half, and we also don't want it to adhere along the right half. So this guy will go right about there. Okay? Now, I do those things first because I need to establish the color palette before I start our stamping. Okay, so we know that we could also use, when we get over here, I think we could also maybe use this guy for a little bit of decorating. We could maybe use some mittens. We have some snowflakes to use, maybe this little fun. We'll kind of see what we end up using over here. And then those, probably not those. All right, so now that we've established a color palette, we are ready to start talking about our stamps. I think now would be a good time to do another giveaway. What do you think? Should we? Should we do another giveaway? Hi, Mary Pat. Never late. It's an open house. You come and go as you please. I'm just happy to have you guys. All right, so another giveaway, and this is our next giveaway for the 2026 About Last Month stamp set. I need to create my little grid up here. So in order to do that, I am going to grab this little guy. I'll just put the stamps that I need on that. So we know we need our grid. We know we need Jan. Instead of Marsha, it's Jan. We're focusing on Jan today, not Marcia. And then we need 2026. And we also need about last month. Now that's what I call this list that we do every month, about last month. But you have some alternatives there. You have month in review. You also have here's the story. Or you could even do loved this if you wanted to put that in that grid as well. Okay, normally what I do, I am stamping directly on this page. What I'm going to do to make it a little bit easier for myself, I'm going to cheat. I am taking all of this out. Remember, my Traveler's Notebook insert is deconstructed. It's been deconstructed because it had to go out for photography. So everything, all the pages are separated. So what I'm going to do, I took out all those inside pages and I am going to do this. This will make it a little bit easier for me to work with. If I didn't have the ability to do right now, to do that, I would do what I would probably end up doing. I would probably take another piece of either lined paper or a piece of like my 6x8 grid paper or white cardstock or something, and I would do all of my stamping in my list over here, kind of like I just did this list. Remember, we did all of this off the page and then I adhered it. I would probably do the same thing over here, just because once you get this deep, this curve makes it a little bit more challenging to stamp on. So if I wasn't cheating, that's what I do, but I'm going to cheat because I can. All right, so there we go. But I'm still going to bring in something. I am going to bring in my opinion, a very important tool when you are stamping and you have something underneath, right? I have all this bulk here and I have some bulk over here that I can't do anything about. It's there. But if I slide something in between there, where the heck are my, oh, there it is, pencil board. If I put a pencil board underneath here, that's going to give me a flat surface to stamp on. So basically, it's completely getting rid of all these bumps here. When you're stamping, if you have bumps, if you have any kind of dimension, it can interfere with your stamped impression. So anytime I'm stamping in my Traveler's Notebook, I always bring in pencil board. And those pencil boards I sell on my website. 2 different sizes. There's a B, an A5 size, and then that Traveler's Notebook size. All right, so now, color-wise, let's get out our swatches and see what we think we might want to do here. So we have we've got pink here, we have some pink here, we have some purplish up here, we have orange here. I will not be using any orange. So I think what we might do, let's grab a pink. I think we will go with Picked Raspberry. Looks nice. And that's how we can kind of get ourselves a little bit out of winter, by bringing in a little pink. Let's do Picked Raspberry. Picked Raspberry. Oh, that's down here from my stamping last night. Here we go. Picked Raspberry. And then we need to bring in some blue. So let's see what blue that we would like to use. So much easier with your swatches, because imagine if I had to go grab all my blues now and I'd be like, nope, not that one, nope, not that one, nope, not that one. I mean, that would work. Ooh, there we go. How about we do Faded Jeans? Because Faded Jeans is kind of that blue color. We have a little blue in his scarf there. And then if we pull in any of these things, that blue works. So we want Picked Raspberry and Faded Jeans. I almost exclusively, I'll start playing with some of the, sorry, my back is to you while I look for that. Where are you, Faded Jeans? Makes me always think of Mr. Green Jeans when I talk about Faded Jeans. You guys remember Mr. Green Jeans from Romper Room? I think it's Romper Room. Wasn't Mr. Green Jeans his friend? I think. Or maybe Mr. Green Jeans was the guy. I don't remember. All right. All kinds of pop culture references between Marcia, and Jan and Mr. Green Jeans. Hang tight. I think like an eyelash in my eye. I am going to have to, oh heck, or I've got a whole clump of hair in my eye. Hang tight. I'm going to have to go in the other room very quickly and get that out, because I can't see. I'll be right back, friends. Let me go get that out of my eye. Okay, hang on. Now I'm gonna have to go in my bathroom and look in the magnifier mirror. I'll be right back, you guys. Sorry. Okay, I'm coming back. All right, that was unusual. That was an eyelash that was still attached, but it had somehow like started poking down into my eye. Have you ever had that happen? So I had to go look in the magnifying mirror and then grab my tweezers and, whew, all right, all good. All is good now. Let's see, Virginia said, what size pencil board do you all suggest to use for working in the traveler's notebook? The smaller. So Virginia, there are two sizes. There's the A5 size, and A5 is like 8.33 by 5 and something. That size ends up sticking out. It's not necessarily a bad thing if it sticks out. I'm trying to see if I have that large size here somewhere. And it's not here for some reason. If you are primarily going to be working in a traveler's notebook this size, I would say the smaller size. The smaller size, this one is the standard wide size. So you can see how it fits. It sticks out a little bit. It's a little tiny bit wider and it's a little bit shorter. The A5 one is going to be wider. All right. So really just depends. Heather said she likes a larger one. No reason really, but that's the one I reach for most. There you go. All right. So now we're ready for our little grid here. What I need to decide is, I know I'm going to use 1, 2, 3 colors. I'm going to grab my scratch paper. When I was designing the year in review class, the project kit or the project, I was testing color combinations. And so this is my scratch paper, right? This is my scratch paper that I was doing all of my testing on. And so this is just to kind of give you an idea, even though it's really messy. When you change the color of the inks that you're using, both from the grid as well as the different color of inks, you get a totally different look. Like, look at this guy. My grid is orange and my May is orange and everything else is green. That looks very different than like this guy. My grid is blue, my August is blue, and then it's kind of a lighter blue for those guys. So depending on what you use, that's same color palette. That January is same color palette as that, but a black grid instead of a blue grid. So you can really get an entirely different look and feel to your stamped images based on how you're switching things up with color, including the grid, all right? But I think what I'm going to do, my grid in black, all right? And then I'll work with those 2 other colors. So let's grab, we still want to test, even though I think that's what I'm going to do. You always, 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 in my opinion, everything I tell you is my opinion. In my opinion, you should always, always, always test everything that you do. You're never going to regret it. It's always a good investment in your time. I would much rather realize that my stamp was dirty or it had lint on it. I would much rather realize that I didn't like the color that I picked or something like that. I would much rather realize that when I'm testing as opposed on my project, right? Yes, you could spend all day doing that, just your fun. And then too, this lets you kind of experiment with different color combinations, right? Like look at March, how fun that is. Kind of our little preppy color there with the green and the pink. February with the red and pink and black. So just your colored ink really can change the way the same stamp set, right? It's the same stamp set we're working with. It just looks different based on what we're doing. So let's go ahead and get this inked up. Let me think about how I want to do this. Get that nice and inked up. And we want to test it. I already done that on another one there. Testing, a couple different reasons. Make sure your stamp is clean. Make sure you like the color combination. But the other thing is to give you a feel for how much pressure you need to apply. One of the things I notice when I'm physically watching someone stamp is that they apply way more pressure than you really need to. For some reason, we feel like we need to press down so hard. When we press down really hard, what you're doing is you're flattening out the polymer, the material. And so it'll start to get really blurry. So if your stamped impressions look blurry a lot, it's probably because you're pressing too hard. And you probably didn't know that. So pull out scratch paper and play. And then you can press really hard, see what happens. Press not as hard, see what happens. Kind of the general rule, the bigger your stamp, the more surface area is on your stamp that's solid. You probably need to apply more pressure there because you want to make sure that you're getting that whole area filled in. But this, it's not, it's more of it's a grid, it's an outline. I don't need to apply as much pressure as you might think. All right, so now what we want to do, I am going to, kind of for the year now, I am going to establish about how far down I want that stamp to stamp because I'm going to do that. I'll do this list every month, right? If I grab, let me grab, hang on. If I grab, where is it, Lael? Well, maybe if I don't grab. Maybe if I don't grab because I don't know where it is. There's a lot of stuff in here right now. I won't grab it, it's fine. I just need to decide how far down I want this. So if we always go, I'm going to always use this bottom line as kind of my reference point and line it up here. So I don't want to be too close to the top. So if that bottom line, when I do this next month, I'll flip back to this one and just see where it is. So it's always going to be about right there. That'll be my place where I'm putting that bottom line in the grid. All right, so let's go ahead and ink that up again. I do need to ink that up again because I stamped with it a couple times, so there's not enough ink on it anymore. And it's also been sitting there in the air for a bit, right? So whatever was on there is dried out. Okay, so now we're going to take this. I have my pencil board underneath. And I am going to come in with confidence. Stamp with confidence, all right? If you are very tentative and timid when you are stamping, I find that I'm much more likely to make a mistake. Stamp with confidence. Oh, uh-oh. I have a little bit of ink on my fingers, so that has, oh, right there, there's the culprit. That has now transferred black fingerprint to my paper. You'll see that right there. See it right there and right there. I'm going to take a sand eraser. Sand eraser is exactly what you'd think it is. It's an eraser that has sand in it, so there's a little bit of grit. And I'm just going to come in there and erase that. By the time I do my writing over that, you won't even be able to see it, but pretty much I've been able to erase that. There was one there and one there. You just see a little bit of residue left. All right, so now we need to decide how we want to, we basically have 1, 2, 3, 4 more stamps, right? My year, the month, 01, and about last month. So I need to decide what do I want to use where, right? So if we look at this, kind of that was my little scratch again, right? What do I want to stand out here? Because really what's going to stand out when we look at those, your 3-digit month is really what's standing out. So do I want that to be blue? I think I want that to be blue because to me, January, the pink is more of a secondary color and then the blue would be the primary color. So let's take Jan. Ooh, we need to clean this off. Let's clean this off and get this put away. We're going to take January and you'll notice I am going to swap out my stamping block, even though that would work on there. It fits, but one of the things I said, in my opinion, makes stamping a lot easier. And if it's easier, generally you're going to have a better outcome if it's easier, if you right size your stamping block to your stamp, right? So that's too big. I mean, it will work, but if you're trying to right size, that is too big. So that guy is right sized, makes it much easier for me to handle that and work with. And there's not a lot of wobbling and trying to get it centered because it's right sized. Now, I need to come back in and test again. And what I will test against, I should have marked wherever that paper was where I had that grid. Because now that I've already stamped that grid, I can also use that to see if I like my colors, right? I might, if I won't do this, but if I was doing this myself, probably what I would do, I'd probably come in with January and put Jan right there in the blue. And then I'd probably clean that off. And then I'd probably put the pink right here and see which one I liked better, right? So if I have different things I can test here, I can test color combinations to see what I like better. Now, I won't do that. I'm going to go with Jan in that faded jeans. Ink that up again, get that nice and inky. And my pencil board is still there. And I'm going to come in and damp, right? Nice even pressure. Another thing that you don't want to do when you are stamping is you don't want to rock your stamp. And generally, if your stamping block is right sized to your stamp, it's a lot harder to rock because there's not much room. If I had something like this giant stamping block, and if I only have one stamping block, it's the lowest common denominator. I have to have the largest stamping block for my biggest stamp. But if I have this on here, this will just be a really good example of what it's like if you're not right sizing your stamping block to your stamp. Let me just get that down. So if I ink this guy up, there's so much extra area, surface area here. When I am trying to stamp that, it's just a little bit harder for me to work with because I'm trying to get it in there and then I'm pressing down. But then I have all this extra material. So it's like, do I need to move it around? If I move it around, does it move it? Then I think, ooh, I might need to rock it to make sure I get it really good. If I rock it, when I rock it, what it's doing is it's applying undue pressure at the top and bottom, wherever you're rocking it. So you can actually see how it's a little blurred? I mean, it doesn't look bad. This one is pretty forgiving because it's there's more surface area to it. But if you're taking a little tiny word or something like that on a large stamping block and you're moving it, you're going to, I mean, it'll still work, but you might not like the outcome as much as you would if you were right sizing your stamping block to your stamps. And these are all things that just make stamping easier. I know some people are really timid about stamping and you're like, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to make a mistake. You know what? There is no mistake that you can't fix. Even if it means, whoops, I totally messed that up. I'm going to take a white piece of paper, do my stamping on there and put it on here and then keep going, right? There's no mistake with stamping that you can't figure out a way to fix one way or another. All right, so now we want to bring in our picked raspberry. So when we look at this, like when we look at what this is going to look like, I think because this is so heavy, I think I'm going to come in and do pink raspberry everywhere else, which means we'll do pink raspberry with our 01. And again, if I come back here to my little page in my book that I've been testing on, oopsie, and I put that right there. Do I like that color combination? I do. I think it's sure fun. So now we'll come back in here and do that little guy goes right there. Now, we know January is the first month. If you did not want to put a number there, I mean, you could do all kinds of fun things. You could take something like that guy and put that guy right there instead, put a little snowflake in there whatever stickers or rub-ons or die cuts or, you could put something in that little area instead of your, two-digit month number. All right, next up we have 2026. So this stamp set has 2 years on it, 2026 and 2027. But if you wanted to use that beyond or in front of, like 2025, you could either write it in or grab another, maybe if you have another date stamp that has a year on it. But that one's got 2 years for you. There we go. Get that nice and inked up. That guy's going right here. Do you notice I didn't even say what I was doing, but you noticed how I moved to a different size stamping block. That is something you see me consistently do in my stamping. And whether I'm on camera with you guys or I'm doing it on my own, I am always right sizing my stamping block to my stamp. And I know I sound like a broken record, but that to me is one of the biggest things that you can do for successful stamping. It just makes life so much easier. All right, the last thing I have is about last month. Here's another trick. Up until this point, I have been placing my stamps. I might have done this without even realizing what I was doing. Just directly on the blocks. I picked them up and put them on the blocks. But in this case, I really don't remember if that's what I did or not. In this case, this is a pretty long, narrow strip. Have you ever taken something like this, your stamp, and put it on a block and it's not straight and it stamps crooked and you're like, it's a little bit harder to do because it's sticky. If you get it straight on your work surface or get it on your work surface and then make sure your block is straight and then you pick up your block or you pick up your stamp with your block, then you will have it straight like that. Okay. I've missed all kinds of things in the chat. All kinds of things. I'm just working away. You guys are chatting away. And there are some people that are here that have been here a long time, like Terry, like Heather, and I'm just seeing both of their names down, like Colleen, that if you guys have questions that I've missed, usually people here are really good about answering because they're pretty knowledgeable. But if I have ignored one of your questions, I didn't do it on purpose. I've just not been looking. I just haven't been looking yet at the, chat. So there we go. There's my grid. That's my last piece. Get that nice and inked up. The other thing, you guys, it's like many things in life, practice makes perfect. When I first started stamping, years and years ago, I thought I might want to try stamping, and I hated it. I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know I should be testing things. I didn't know about standing. I didn't know about right size your stamping block to your stamp. I didn't know any of that. And I was very frustrated. I didn't really know. And so I stopped stamping for a long time. And then start of the pandemic, I started picking it up again. And then that's where I took the time to practice and play and start to learn. Like many things in life, the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with it and the better you get at it, right? Like if you want to start learning how to play tennis, you don't expect to be able to go and play Billie Jean King in a tennis match, right? Of course you couldn't. You just picked up a tennis racket. And so I think sometimes with crafting, we feel like we should be an expert at everything as soon as we pick it up. Well, we wouldn't with tennis, so why would we feel that way with stamping? We have to go and practice a lot and play tennis before we can play the likes of Billie Jean King. Never. But a lot of practice. Same thing with any of your crafting, right? I don't do mixed media. I could never pretend to try to pick up mixed media and be great at it, right? Because I don't know how to do it. I never do it. I need to practice. So stamping, the same thing. Just practice. Practice on something you don't care about. Take something like this. Take a piece of computer paper and you're watching the Olympics, right? Turn on the Olympics and just start playing. This can go in the garbage. You don't need to keep this. You're just playing and learning. It's time invested, but it is time well spent, right? Right. Okay, let's do our giveaway. All right, I am going to practice makes progress. Practice makes perfect. Practice takes time, absolutely. But guess what else? Practice pays off. And it's playing, right? It's playing. Even if you make nothing, it is playing and it's fun. All right, so let me scroll up. Let's see where we're stopping. We are stopping at, boom, Wanda Bradford 5100. And it's funny. And this is all blind. I scroll up wherever my finger stops is where it is. Wanda's comment was giveaway, Lil. So Wanda is the random lucky winner of the 2026 About Last Month stamp set. Wanda, please send an email to lailbymail@gmail.com with winner 2026 About Last Month stamp set in the subject line. And in the body of the email, please give me your name and address. And the team will get your prize off to you. I'm going to say in about 2 weeks, just so they can get through all the orders first. If you ever win a giveaway and you already have an order in, make sure I know that, because if you do, we can add it to your order and then you get it sooner because we just added onto your order. Or if you're placing an order and then we can add it onto your order. Otherwise, it's, you know, when the team can get it out. All right, so there we go. We are done with our stamping. Now I need to come in and find my Sharpie again. It's been a while since I've used our friend's Sharpie. Oh, here it is. I mean, a while today. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is draw my little, draw my little thing here, my little outline. There is another free class here on my YouTube channel about once my traveler's notebooks are deconstructed. What I mean like this, remember all the pages are no longer together because they went out for photography and they have to be photographed flat. Once they are deconstructed, how I put them all back together. So basically this, all right? I take the cover off. I use like an awl or a paper piercer to punch holes through all of the pieces. I make a new cover that is now wider than the original cover. And then I just stitch up and down, back through the top and bottom with wax thread. So class here on my YouTube channel that's free that walks you through that. What some people will do is this. You might get your traveler's notebook insert. If you're working in a traveler's notebook, you couldn't do this in a planner or like a bullet journal, but you could certainly do this in a traveler's notebook. Some people will deconstruct it right off the bat. What I mean by that, pull out the staples right off the bat. And then you are just using each of the pages as you're going. You just have to remember they need to be kept in that stack, right? Because this piece is the back of, or the front of the bottom piece, right? I mean, when they get to the center, that makes sense because it's one piece. But when we get here, the other side of this one is the other side of this one deep down. So some people will do that. Just need to make sure you've got a clip or something to kind of keep all of those together. All right, so now when we're back here, this is what we're looking like, right? So now that pink is kind of carrying in, and that's a way that I could definitely brighten up the winter doldrums. I mean, blue's not a doldrum, but it just adds a little bit more color to what we're doing now. Let me just erase this guy right now. That was my little pencil mark. All right, so now I am ready for just a little bit more decorating, and then I will make my list. So we have a couple things. We could put mittens there if we wanted, but I don't know. The mittens bring in a color I don't necessarily have yet, the green. That green does match my inhaler, but I don't think I want to do that. Maybe we'll just add this little guy here. Maybe we just add this little guy kind of right there. And then we have a couple of snowflakes that we could add. These are die cuts, but I should probably also look at I'm actually pulling a couple of things. Now that I'm thinking of it, we need to pull that in. Those, ooh, that's interesting. Those, how did that happen? Those got a little bit of overspray. Whoopsie. When I spritzed my other thing. All right, there we go. Rub-ons. So we were using the rub-ons on our last list. So I have rub-ons here. Oh, so what I could do, I could use some of those rub-ons if I wanted. I have a couple of other little, I was going to call them creatures, a couple of other critters. Or I also have black ones that I could use. So I've got some little black snowflakes. Ooh, I have this, building a snowman winter, kind of this layered stacked word art, right? That's one. That would be fun to maybe work in somewhere here. I kind of feel like we need to do that. Let's get this guy. This stacked word art, the stacked layered word art, you'll see there's one of those for January, one for February, one for March. You will see those also in the documenting the details rub-ons that we released. I think this guy just might go down right there at the bottom. Sure, why not? But I think we're going to have to do something to him. I think we might have to put a little box around him because I think he's going to blend in too much with my list. So let's pop that a little bit higher like that. And I'm going to grab my little rub-on tool, but I could use the little popsicle stick that comes with them. And I'm just going to rub that on. So the idea behind having a color sheet and then a black sheet, obviously they're different, you know, all the artwork is different, but the color sheet, obviously all of those colors coordinate with the paper and the die cuts with Season Pass. The black sheet gives you a little bit more flexibility and freedom. Would certainly work with all of Season Pass, but because they're black, they will work with anything, any type of project. Maybe you're working in a planner and you're not really doing any color. Well, your rub-ons would still work great in there. Or maybe you want to color maybe I wanted to color Winter Day in with a marker or something like that. I could do that. So the black, and there's colored for a purpose, and then the black for a purpose. All right, let's pull that off and see how we're looking to make sure it looks good. Everything transferred well. There we go. I'm just going to rub my fingers across the top of that. I could put that back down and also rub that across the top. You just want to make sure that everything is nice and, you know, set. All right. So now, let me just take this out here. It's going to be a little bit easier if I take this guy out again. Move these things. I need a bigger desk. No, I don't. If I had a bigger desk, I would just be spreading out more, which I don't need to do. So this guy, I think, maybe. I've got to bring this back in for a second. Where do we want to place him? I don't want him to be I don't want him to be right there because now this guy is there and this guy is there and they're a little bit too close. Maybe I like him there. Let's put him there. Glue pen. Hello, Carrie Evans. Nice to see you. Kathy asked a great question. Lael, can you use rub-ons on photos? You absolutely can. Absolutely. You can even use rub-ons on top of stamped impressions. So, when we released the texture stamp set, I showed a little demo where I had stamped one of the, texture splatter stamp set, where I had stamped one of these guys. And then, so I stamped one of these guys, made sure the ink was dry, and then I put a rub-on top of it. You can pretty much put a rub-on anything. All right, okay. So now I think what I'm going to do is, where are the stamps from Season Pass? What did I do with those? All right, so I have this little cluster of snowflakes. I feel like we could use a cluster of snowflakes maybe somewhere on here. Like maybe, do we put those right there? I think I would like that, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I don't want to use that same blue. So let's find a little bit of a lighter blue that, so I don't want it to blend too much in with the Jan. I think we might do tumbled glass, maybe? Tumbled glass. Yep. Tumbled glass. All right. To me, well, when you're buying stamps and when you're buying inks, you're making an investment, right? You're investing in different colors, you're investing in different designs, but once you have your colors and once you have your stamps, those things will last you a really long time, right? A really long time. So even though they might cost, your stamps cost more than stickers, absolutely, but the life of your stamps and the life of your inks, much longer than a sticker. All right, let's put this guy back under here and do that. And really, I should just test. We'll just come in here and test. Oh, so cute. Aren't those cute? Little snowy scene there. All right, so let's put this guy right there. Oh, look it just needed something else, right? Isn't that cute? Now we could probably put, I don't know, do we put these little guys right here? I think we should. I think we should do one more little set of snowflakes right there. Okay, So now we are ready to roll. We're ready to do our list. While I am kind of getting a little bullet stamp out and cleaning this little guy and putting this away, let's talk about what goes on my list like this. And if you have the idea book, you'll see 60 examples of different, lists that I've done. Any of the idea books across the different idea books. But basically, it's whatever I want to put on there. Like what happened during my life? What happened during the month of January? Sometimes more things happen. Sometimes less things happen. Sometimes bigger things happen. Sometimes small things happen. Sometimes nothing happens. And I feel like, oh, what should I talk about? We finished up watching season 2 of Landman. That could go on my list. Maybe I read a book. That could go on my list. Maybe I'm watching the Olympics. That could go on my list. There's a lot of different things that can go on your list. You don't have to. Some people will say, Lael, I could never do this list because nothing happens in my life. And I go, oh, come on. Come on, really? Come on. Let's not be a Debbie Downer. Let's talk about what could go on your list. What you're eating, what you're cooking, what you're watching, what you're reading, what you're learning, what you're hoping, what you're wishing, what you're thinking, what you're looking forward to. I mean, there's so many different things that could go on this list. And some people bring in things from other members of their family or what's happening at work. Or, we lived 31 days in January. I'm pretty sure you could come up with some things to fill this one little half of a page here, right? This one little half of our spread of things that happened in your life. Oh, Janine, I love that. Janine said in January, my husband and I decided to try and grow our family, right? So they're trying, right? Doesn't mean that it's happened yet. Maybe it has. Maybe there's a little baby on the way. But things like that, right? You've made a decision to do something down the road. One of the things in January on my list could be, I decided it was time to go look for a warehouse. I didn't end up finding one and signing a lease until February, but I decided I was going to do something. Or maybe in January you start planning your garden for May. Or so it can be things you're planning or things you're starting to work on and work towards. Janine, that's so exciting. Congratulations. That's just how special. Mary Pat says, I went on a mile long walk yesterday, which is a first in years. They can be big things. They can be little things, right? Louisa said, have a great rest of the day. You're going to watch the Olympics with your daughter. I love that. Love it. All right. Oh no. And you know what? Don't ever worry if you call me Layla. It's autocorrect and it happens all the time. I say, no, my parents were not fans of Eric Clapton, even though autocorrect thinks so. It always does. I know you don't mean that. I know you know my name. No worries. Okay, so I need one more thing. I need a bullet stamp again. I need a bullet stamp that I can use. This is just one big run-on where I'm making a list. I need a bullet stamp where I can, separate the things on my list. So let's look at the 3 of those again. And I know I have bullets and more too as a little snowflake. So that's quite appropriate. Let's do that. Little snowflake. There we go. And I think what I will do, I think I'm going to use that same light blue color again. Why not? Let's use that same tumbled glass color. And, I should tell you, if you are maybe starting to collect inks, and you want to get a good assortment, Tim Holtz Ranger now does the mini oxides does the distress oxides in the mini. So up until the very end, I don't know, maybe third quarter or something of last year, they didn't do the minis. They only did minis in distress inks. And I've kind of mentioned I use distress oxides for all of my stamping because it's a pigment-based ink. I like this solid coverage. So they now have the minis, and you buy the minis in packs of 4 different colors. But these are a great way to kind of get started instead of buying, all of your big ones. And I carry all those on my website too, the smalls and the regular sizes. All right, so here we go. We've got this. What did we do with tumbled glass? We have tumbled glass, and now we're ready to make our list. All right, so we're going to start right here with my first bullet. Every month there's a number of different things on my list. Sometimes my things are longer, sometimes my things are shorter. And when I sit down to do this list, usually the night before, so last night I would sit down and I know this is a list that we're doing. So I go to a number of different places. I go to 3 different places to remember what happened during the month of January. Number 1, I go to my photos on my phone because that's a great reminder of what happened, right? I had all these photos. If I'm like, oh yeah, what did I do in January? I have photos to help trigger my memory. And those go on my list in my listing workbook. The next thing I do is I go to my calendar. What's on my calendar? Because there may be things on my calendar that I did that I don't have photos for. Oh, that's right. I went to lunch with Sherry and Karen for Karen's birthday at the beginning of January. Then we went shopping. That goes on my list. And then I look at, I have a note on my phone. So I have an about last month on my phone that has been the same running note for the last 5 years. And so throughout the month, if I remember things, I put them on that note on my phone. And it's those 3 things together, the note on my phone, my calendar, and my photo roll, that before I sit down to list, I transfer them all to my workbook because when we're live, I can't go reference those things. I have all those right here. And then that's what I'm using for my list because I could never remember everything that happened in January, right? I could never remember that. So I have to have, a way to kind of keep all those things organized. So as we start, lunch in Park City and shopping with Karen and Sherry to celebrate Sherry's not celebrate Sherry's birthday. We went to celebrate Karen's birthday. All right. So what do we do? Right? I just messed up. What do we do? I'm just going to say this. I'm going to lie. Right? Sherry and Karen's birthday. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to embellish. I'm going to fib a little bit. I mean, Sherry's birthday was in December, so we theoretically could be celebrating both of their birthdays. But you know what? Here's the other thing. No one's going to know. No one is going to remember a year from now. And if they do, well, guess what? I don't care. That this wasn't exactly right. We really were celebrating Karen's birthday, not Sherry's birthday, because we already celebrated Sherry's birthday in December. But that didn't stop me from continuing. It didn't make me start all over or get angry and stop doing it altogether. It just roll with it, right? You got to roll with it because nobody's got time to start over. We just roll with it and keep on going. Next up, what else do I have? Oh yes. Amy and I, Amy, my right hand, Amy and I met in Burbank for our 2026 planning session and to lay out the idea book. Okay. Here's the other thing. This, all I'm doing is making a list, right? And this type of list may look different than you're used to. You may be used to looking at a list like this, where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever. It's a list. What makes this type of documenting, in my opinion, so approachable is that we all know how to make a list. We were all raised on making a list, whether it was a to-do list or a grocery list or a spelling list or a Christmas wish list, right? We all know how to do this. If I said to us, hey, I want you to write 3 paragraphs about what you did in January, you know what would happen? 98% of you would go, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not writing 3 paragraphs, Lael. I'm not doing that. I'm not a writer. I don't know how to do that. I'm not good at writing. I misspell things. I'm not going to do that. But if I said to you, hey, make a list of what you did in January, you'd be like, oh yeah, I can do that all day long. That's easy. I know how to make a list. So there's something about this type of documenting that makes it really approachable because we don't have to be Ernest Hemingway to make a list. If we feel like we have to journal or write 3 paragraphs, we get scared because we're not Ernest Hemingway. Now, some of you are, and you love to journal and you're great at it, but not everybody. So this type of documenting seems to be really approachable for that reason. And I think that's why a lot of us really love to do this type of documenting because it's fun, it's creative. We're playing with our stamps and stickers and things like that, but it's also easy to do and approachable. Okay, okay. All right, so, and of course, while we were there, because when you're in that area, and this restaurant is in other parts of California, of course, we had to have lunch at Porto's. Porto's is a Cuban bakery. And oh my goodness, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Doesn't matter what time of day it is, doesn't no matter what day of the week is, there is always a line outside. Oh, so good. So anytime, and I happen to know that because I also teach at an event every year in Burbank that is also just down the street from Porto's. So you always have to go have lunch at Porto's because it's so good. All right, next up. Oh, yes. Lizzie, if Lizzie's still here, and I know Luann's here, and Big Cheryl might be here too. I'm just thinking of my friends that sometimes are here. This is a friends retreat. So this is friends. Not like a business retreat, not a working retreat. This is a friends retreat that this group of ladies were very kind to start inviting me to a number of years ago. Now that I fly out for every January, and we all just get together and craft. People are working on different things. While I was there, I finished my December documented book finally. That's on my list of things I did in January. But we just get together and everyone's in the same house and everybody brings food and it is so fun. So that is what this photo is. I think there were 18 of us there. This was a winter theme, like a snow lodge theme. And we all that day wore our pajamas or loungewear or whatever. So that was a lot of fun. So we have the Betty's. Actually, my apostrophe should have gone in the other place, but that's okay. Betty's January retreat in Fallbrook. And that for me is really special. Number one, it's special that those ladies let me into their group and invited me to do that with them. And I get to go and play and I still work while I'm there, but it's just an opportunity for me to play and escape and kind of get away and out of my everyday. So yes, and Luann said, what happens in January stays in Fallbrook. What happens in Fallbrook stays in Fallbrook. And it's in Fallbrook, California. But anyhow, just the best time and just such a lovely group of women. And I just enjoy it very much. Lots of eating and crafting and laughing and photos and talking and having a great time. Okay. And obviously there are going to be things on my list in January that I don't have photos for. And sometimes there are photos of things I don't necessarily put on my list. It just depends, right? It's all very loose. You just kind of do what works for you. Do what you want to do. I finished my 2025 December documented project. Hallelujah, yeehaw. Now I still need to film it because I have had people reach out, Lael, when are you going to finish that and film that? Because I always get inspiration from that. And then I got sick, right? I basically came back from that and then 4 days later got sick and then was sick for 18 days. So when I get back from my trip, I will film that and it'll be out here. So just know it's coming. Nick and I had dinner and Mammoth hockey game with friends of ours. That was the day before I got sick. And then all of the things just really started for my list, kind of not much happening from there. I got so sick. 18 days worth. lots of time in bed sleeping. Right? Because that's what you got to do. That's what you have to do. And I am incredibly fortunate with my business that when that happens and I have to basically stop, that my business doesn't stop. Because imagine you guys are placing orders and stuff, or there's design work that has to be happening for new product, and all that has to stop because I can't do it. But none of that stops when I get sick because everyone is there to help me. Lily and Denise, all of the ordering, all the kidding. Amy keeping all the wheels on the bus. And then Becky doing all the designing. So that I was able to rest. And that's really never happened before. So I feel incredibly fortunate for that. My future daughter-in-law, Kat, her maid of honor, Alex, and Kat's mother, Diana, came into town for Kat's bridal shower. We had lunch, and this was, let's see, the shower was on February 1st, and so they came in that was Sunday, they came in that Friday. So still in the middle of Lael being not really well. Walking pneumonia. It's tumbled glass. So Wanda, that color that I'm using is tumbled glass. Let's see. Pics from the bridal. Yes, I'll show you in one sec, Steph. I'll show you kind of the center pictures there. My mother was huge help with all of that because I was just not doing well. We had a wonderful lunch. At the Dodo. 2 lovely dinners, and of course, the shower. Now, here's the thing. The shower was on February 1st, but guess what? I am putting it in here. I'm putting it in here because all the rest of this was in January. And I won't be documenting it in February. I'm documenting it in January with the photos. And you know what? That's okay. Because I'm the boss of me and I can do whatever I want, right? And obviously I'm joking. Well, no, I'm serious about that. I can do whatever I want. But I say that to give you permission, right? If something happens in February and you want to put it in January, who cares? It's okay, right? You are documenting for yourself. You're not documenting for anyone else. And if things fit better in one place than the other, then make them fit where you want them to fit, okay? Because that's what I did. I mean, most of the time they were here was in January, so I decided to put it in January. All right, one last thing I need to do, and then I'll show you those pictures. The shower was lovely. We had brunch here at our house. My mom and I, Friday, after we picked them from the airport and had lunch, we went to Trader Joe's and bought all the flowers. And you guys, I'm telling you, I bought $40 worth of flowers and made 3 beautiful arrangements out of them. 3 big vases with like $45 worth of flowers. So if you have a Trader Joe's in your area, I'm telling you right now, that was the way to go, because I could have spent much more than that, right? Especially if I, had a florist do it or something. And so they were lovely and not expensive at all. Okay, so that little thing I just did. I did that because I felt like this was too much blending into my black writing. And I said at the beginning I was going to do this. I knew I was going to do this. So I am going to grab I wonder where Nick is. Nick's been gone for a long time. I don't know where he went. Where is what did I do with my swatch book for my colored pencils? Because here it is. I need that again. Because what I would like to do, I think I'm going to bring in a little bit of pink here again. So let's go back to, Reggie just stirred. He's out of the cat is now out of his, there we go. Bengal Rose. He got out of his bucket. So Bengal Rose, that is the one we want to go with. So let's grab those. Did I put them away? I did. Another plug for swatching, because imagine if I opened this up and I had to look at all the pinks to try to see which one I thought would work, and I'd have to test them all, of course, first. So Bengal Rose, where is it? These are watercolor pencils, but you know what? I don't use them for watercolor. I use them for colored pencil. So you can get very inexpensive colored pencils to add to color to your things. Okay, where's Bengal Rose? Okay, come on. Fleshlight, that's a nice name. I tell you what, if I was working for OPI or a fingernail polish company, I would not call something Fleshlight. Okay, where is that? Bengal Rose, this is it, right? Okay, come on, where are you? I know this is the color I want to use, so where is it? Carmine Rose? Signal Red? Orange? Flashlight? It would actually be better. You know what? You know the way I should sort these? I should be sorting these in. I should be sorting these in alphabetical order because I don't need them to be in color order, right? Why isn't it there? Castle Arts. This is Castle Arts. Come on, where's Bengal Rose? Oh. Look at Bengal Rose is purple. You would never look at that and think it was that, would you? But all of a sudden I knew because why is that in the purples, right? It's not over here in the pinks. So let's take a look at that and look and see if that is what we think we want to do. Because you look at that, I would never pick that color to go with that. But let's just look. So we need to kind of pretend this is what we're doing. There's a little line. And does that still look nice? It does. So this is what I'm going to do. Come in here and just add a little bit of, you know what I need to do though? I need to put my pencil board under here because it's starting to get all lumpy bumpy because of that. I can feel that when I'm trying to kind of trace that line. Oh, much smoother that way. So it doesn't even have to be for stamping. Okay, so that helps it stand out a little bit. Now, what happens if I do this? I know you're probably looking at my roots because I'm bent over while I do this. So you can use colored pencil on top of your rub-on. All right, that's what I'm doing there. And that is just kind of breaking up all that black in there. And then we'll be done with this list. All right, so about last month, that is another great list if you were just getting started on creative listing. This is a great one to start with, about last month. We're at the beginning of a year. You don't need to start in January. You can start any month. But since we just finished January, that's an easy one to start with. All right, there we go. All right, let's get our Bengal Rose, that's really rose and not purple, but they put it in the purple section, out of the way. And we're going to clean that up and we will move on to our next list, all right? Our next list is another list that we do on a semi-frequent basis. This list we do 6 times a year. We do it at the beginning of the year. Things I'm looking forward to this year. We do it once a quarter, like every season. Things I'm looking forward to this winter, spring, summer, fall. Maybe we do it 5 times, I guess. Then we also do things I'm looking forward to this Christmas. So we do this list, things I'm looking forward to, 5 times a year. And that's another great one to start with, right? We didn't use any of these. Oh, I know. Hold on. Before I do that, I said I was going to show you. So these are some photos. Once this gets... I did this too fast, so don't pay too much attention to what's happening on the left side here. But those photos, the top photo is from the shower. The middle set of photos, those are candles. Those are little favors that I had my friend Lindsay make. My friend Lindsay makes candles, and she made custom candles for me. So the little label on there says smells like I do. So everyone got a little candle like that. On the top, it says, "Thanks for showering, Kat, with love." And then Kat's says "Future Mrs. Konkar" on it. So everybody got one of those as like a little favor. And then those at the bottom there are some of the flowers from the shower. So yes, we had a lovely time. It was lovely. Now this guy can just go back in here. We'll put all of that back together. And then here is our spread on my deconstructed tray. Oh, one more thing we need to do here. This needs to come. We need to do our little outline around here. Normally you don't ever see Traveler's Notebook deconstructed like this because normally they go to Amy after I'm done with them. But this particular one, because it still had listed, or it had lists in it from last year, it had to go to her because we needed some of those lists in the idea book for last year. So it's just a little kind of skiwampus right now. All right, next list. Things I'm looking forward to this winter. It was so much fun. What about shower? Oh yeah, I got him, Steph. I got him. I think I did, right? Yeah. That was just a fun little thing. Were you able to smell the candles? You mean at the shower? They weren't open. But I knew, my friend Lindsay, I'll show you. This is my friend Lindsay right here. This beautiful blonde. That's my friend Lindsay. And she makes candles. She's been making candles for quite a while. She started doing some custom ones like that for like bridal showers, or you could do them for baby showers or things like that. The scent was, I think it was like a eucalyptus mint, I think. So really subtle, but nice and fresh. And it kind of went with the theme, the invitations, the Evite that I did had some eucalyptus on it. And there was some eucalyptus that I bought for the flower arrangement. So the napkins had eucalyptus on them. I mean, it all kind of worked in really well together. But she does tons of different kinds of scents. I was going to say flavors. All right, so let's get this mess cleaned up. Let me get this mess cleaned up, and then we will start on our next list. So, you know what a good time is when I'm cleaning up the mess. When I'm cleaning up the mess, that is usually a good time for a giveaway. So, how about we do this? How about the next giveaway is Debbie, I understand. Debbie, I thought that was odd. Mary, I do not have her link. She doesn't have a website, but if you want to reach out to me, laelbymail@gmail.com, I will send you her contact information. I will do a reply all and add her, and then you can, talk to her about her candles and stuff. But she does them all herself. They're soy. Thank you, Luann. Luann was also at that retreat, so she knows. Luann knows that they're soy. Okay, so, yes, I was going to say what our next prize is. Our next prize, how about $25 to spend on the website? How about $25 to spend on the website? If you did not know this about me, my love language is gifts. And so this is my way, and we've done giveaways. I think I've done giveaways on my live since I started doing them 5 years ago. It's just a way for me to say thank you to you guys and share. And especially now, you've helped my business grow so much that I like to share. So we always do giveaways. This one is kind of name your own prize within reason, right? Within $25. Or if you want a bigger prize than that, then you just buy the rest of it. But whoever wins this prize, you will email me and I will just add a $25 store credit right to your account on the website. All right, let's put these all back in here because these are all January. This is how I kind of keep them all sorted once I get them. So I've got all of them separated into the 3 months. All righty, so that's off to the side. Our next one. Oop, almost. Nope, these guys need to go away too. We didn't use any of these today, but your word strip stickers that are also part of Season Pass. So you can get them a la carte or part of the Season Pass kit. They're color blocked. So these are always just kind of generic. They can work for lots of different things. But then the blue for winter, spring, winter. The pink for kind of February. And then the green for spring, for March. But then there's also generic things that work in there too. Small moments, this happened, this was so amazing. All right, since we didn't use those. Excuse me. Yeah. It's going to be time for a hydration break here in a minute, friends. Like probably right now. If you've not hydrated since the last time I hydrated, hydrate, okay? Hydrate. Oh, so good. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. The next season pass. Hawthorne Taylor. The next season pass. It is, so I have to think. We get back from the March 1st, March 2nd. We get back March 3rd. And then we move the 6th, 7th, and 8th. So it's probably going to be, I'm going to say March 4th. March 4th is when the spring summer season pass will be revealed. I will do a live that night. Well, I kind of do a live reveal and we'll take a look at the whole thing. And then it will start shipping the following week just because we'll be moving that weekend. We'll start shipping the following week. So March 6th, I probably better make myself a note. So normally we do releases mid-month. There will still be another release mid-March with stamps and dies in the idea book. But that one, season pass, I want to release earlier in the month so people have a chance to get it in time for the class and all of that. All right, so our list, we cleaned up? I think we're pretty cleaned up. Okay, next up. Sorry, I hate to clear my throat with you guys there, but gotta do it. I need one stamp set and then I'll do the giveaway. The stamp set that I need is this one, All the Things. Ever since we've been doing a things I'm looking forward to list, we have used the All the Things stamp set. So the All the Things stamp set is kind of a mix and match stamp set. You have 3 prompts. My favorite things about, things I'm, 4 prompts. My favorite things about, things I'm, things I'd like to, and things I. Those prompts pair with the handwritten words. So things I'm looking forward to this winter, this year, next month. My favorite things about this spring, my favorite things about winter, my favorite things about summer, things I'd like to do over, things I'd like to forget, things I'd like to remember, things I'd like to do again, things I did well, things I appreciate, things I wish, things I'd like to try. So they all kind of just mix and match. And that's the All the Things stamp set. So what I'm going to pull for that is I need looking forward to, I need this, I need winter, and I need things I'm. So I have things I'm looking forward to this winter. Right, let me get these guys. My little things I is popping up there. So let's get these guys back in their little stamp storage sleeve. And get those put away. I'm going to grab one more thing and then we'll do our giveaway. So looking again, this is the idea book for this year. It's 2024 lists that released in 2025. There is always a, hang on. Oh, here we go. There's always a chapter or section in the idea books called Looking Forward. And this is typically where you find these lists. Things I'm looking forward to this year. Things I'm looking forward to this summer. Things I'm looking forward to this fall. We do 6. This year, winter, spring, summer, fall, and Christmas. Anyhow, but you can kind of see here how I use that stamp in those 3 pieces. Things I'm looking forward to this year. And in this case, it'll be this winter. All right, so let's do our giveaway. Our giveaway, this is the $25 store credit is going to Shannon Cummins, 6347. Shannon. Congratulations, Shannon. Shannon Cummins, 6347. If you would please send me an email, lailbymail@gmail.com. In the subject line of your email, you just need to write $25 store credit. And that you don't need to wait for it to ship because I just add it to your account and then you're in business. All right. I saw someone say, I like that you have things on that stamp set that say dislike, right? Because guess what? Life's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? There are things that we dislike. Last year we did a list that said things I would like to like and things I would like to dislike, right? There is even a stamp set that is called, well, I'll show you both of these. There's one that's called All Smiles, right? Those are the goods, right? All Smiles. And then the other one is called, where is it? Maybe it is in here. Let's see, where is it? Oh, I hate it when I haven't put something away in the right place. Don't you hate that? It's called Bad Day. And Bad Day because sometimes we need to document the bad, right? And it kind of goes to your comment there. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows, or sunshine and butterflies, or butterflies and rainbows, or whatever that little saying is that we say. Anyhow, I don't know. For some reason, it's not in there. But there is an opposite version of the All Smiles. It is called Bad Day, and it has different sayings associated with it that apply to Bad Day. There might be one or two swear words in it too. But if that's not you, you just don't have to use them. Okay, so now for this one, I am using another winter collection, but I'm not using Season Pass. I'm going to use something different. And this one is the Flannel Season, Simple Vintage Flannel Season from Simple Stories. Other than when I ordered this for the website, I have only looked at this one little time, and it was last night. So this will be kind of me discovering it like you're discovering it. On this one, I am going to have 2 background pages. So I'm going to have 2 background pages. Let's see what we want to do. This one could be fun. This one's very winter, right, as a background. I won't do any red. This one could be, I don't know, this one could be kind of fun. But those together, not really work. This is beautiful, but I know I don't want any red in there. That's kind of cute, those little berries. But again, I don't want any red. Ooh. Maybe. We also have trees. Trees could work. We might not see enough of the trees, though, so maybe that won't work. This one's pretty. All of those words. Oh, maybe. Ooh, I think we found it. I think it's that. Maybe those two. Now, most of that pattern will get covered up, right? So let's just keep going and look. No red. I know I don't want red. We won't see enough of that. And not that. And then the pad starts over again. So that is one of the Simple Stories 6x8 paper pads. 24 papers, 2 each of 12 different designs. But then everything is double-sided, right? So you end up with 24 patterns, kind of 2 each. All right. So we're going to do something with that. Next up, we are going to look at, I've pulled ephemera. I have pulled sentiments bits. So those are kind of the words. I have pulled floral bits. And I have pulled the bits and pieces. And, oh, guess what? I said I wasn't going to use red. Well, we're going to have a little pop of red. I already know because I saw something on here when I was looking at it last night. I'm like, oh, I know I need to use this because it's just so darn cute. So let's look. Let's look. Let's open these guys. These are the bits and pieces. Oh, wait, what happened? Oh, Virginia, I'm so sorry. Virginia said, my big brother unexpectedly passed away in June. I'm still struggling. So writing my anger has been so helpful. Oh, Virginia, I'm so sorry. That has just got to be so difficult. And especially, I mean, not that it's easier if it's expected. I think it's just a different kind of grief if it's unexpected. I think maybe there's a lot more anger when it's unexpected as opposed to expected. So sorry for your loss. Here's something that and now may not be the time for this in your grief stage. But what may work down the line, maybe something, and it could still be list driven, but your favorite memories about your brother, or some of the things that your brother used to say. Like we all have, sayings that we say. Maybe the sayings that your brother said that remind you of him. Or maybe he had favorite sports teams. Maybe he was really into sports. And you just make a list of his favorite sports teams. I was talking to a woman at a retreat maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And her husband had recently passed away. And she had kids that were older. Her kids were, I think, adult kids. And what she was worried about, she was worried that her kids might never know some things about their dad. Like when the kids were growing up, things that, traits about their dad, some of his favorite authors or favorite movies and things like that. So she had decided, she was still getting to the point, but she had said, I think that might be a way that when I'm ready, that I could turn my memories of him and my maybe more advanced in the grieving process later down the line of being able to remember him in some different ways.